to turn this. Now, let me talk about the other issue, and I got to commend Henry and Dan. We're on this. We're working 3 towns, if you can imagine right now, to get somebody on because they're scared to death of the media. Now, I don't think Trump should have blurted out the animals thing the other night in that manner. There's ways to handle this. But the media now is in a frenzy. Dan, it was an outrage. I was all set last night. I was just tying the purple tie for the gray suit. Not that I'll have that tonight.
Oh, wait, are you wearing a purple tie with a gray suit?
No.
You're wearing a purple shirt with a gray suit.
Oh, no. Tonight I have that blue suit that even Matt O'Donnell over at Inside Story has to feel the material all the time.
So smooth-looking one.
Feel free to come and feel the material. The hair, well, I don't know about that, you know. Well, Dan, Ro will be there. She can designate, she can run her hand through it and prove that it's real. It's going to be a fabulous event tonight. Few tickets left at 1210WPHT.com. The media now, though, is only interested in Springfield, Ohio, Aurora, Colorado, and this, is it Charleroi? It's kind of a French... Charleroi. It's kind of a French-sounding name somewhere in the boondocks of Pennsylvania, which has the very same problems that Springfield, Ohio has. There is no doubt of a couple of things caused by the Venezuelan and Haitian huge emigres thrown into these cities. You have gang activity. You have driving that is reckless beyond belief. And you have social services and government services and just the town being overrun by this. The animals thing is still out there for debate, but the media wants to fixate on that. So last night in Aurora, which is, I think, 20 miles or so outside of Denver, Denver got all this money. They didn't want as many, and they got farmed out through a network into Aurora, Colorado, Venezuelans. 10 gang members arrested. Now, that's a fact. We're not going to crazy stuff. Why were they arrested? Well, they apparently were taking over, trying to take over various housing complexes, among other things. That's a fact. What's the media interested in this for now? One thing, to knock this down, to diminish it when it comes to Republicans talking about this. So they're going to seize on the animal thing and fail to report on the other parts of this, which are real, which are wrong, and which are overwhelming. Oh, I don't know, Taylor Swift. I might call that chaos that's happening in these places. So Henry, Dan have been on board, and I give them every 5 minutes another person. We must have run through like 30 people or so in these 3 towns, and we've been unable to get anybody on. And, of course, the town managers, I believe in full cover-up mode, are telling us how the Haitians have revitalized Springfield, Ohio. I don't believe that's true, based upon a lot of the public comments we've seen of people, based upon bringing 20,000 people in of different culture all at once into a town of 58,000. That doesn't seem like a good idea. And I'm looking at the Daily Signal, which is the Heritage Foundation. They broke down what happened in Aurora, Colorado, how all this chaos got there. New York Post has a story today of one of the sheriffs of an adjoining town scared to death because he thinks it's going to come to his town. They don't like this because this is what it's done to America. Now, the reason that they paid attention to it is because of the animals thing. You know what this is similar to? People only started paying attention to these people that are hell-bent to wreck the Jersey Shore. Why? Because of the whales washing up. They couldn't ignore it. The emotion got into it. And now we have them on the run. The animal story, they're going to tamp down. They're going to go to the ends of the earth, and they're going to ignore the other part of it. That's what's important here. All right, so we have Don Trump Jr. tonight. Just happened to see this before we went on the air. We all know, as a matter of faith, that Jimmy Kimmel is a dope. I don't think Colbert's a dope. And Jimmy Fallon is not necessarily a genius either. But he sticks in his lane. He's a comedian. He's a great mimic. Colbert is just a fake Catholic who is not a comedian anymore. I mean, it's just pure politics with him. I remember when Kimmel got on our radar screen, attacking. We have no empathy for children because people were tired of Obamacare and all the nonsense. And his kid had a problem. And as a dad, of course, we get that. But he pivoted with that to attack conservatives. He's a dope. He's got a track record up and down the line of two things: jiggling women, jumping up and down on trampolines. Was it called The Guy Show? I think it was
the
a
Man
Guy
Show. I think it was
the
the
Man Show. Yeah, the Man Show. Yeah, I knew a guy that he did talk radio here at WWDB. I don't want to bring him in. I'll tell you his name, Dan, later. Who was a co-writer with him and all. That's what it was. Women on trampolines.
I have a really good idea, Dom. Super fresh.
Yes.
On our YouTube stream, how about during the breaks? We
Yes.
have women jumping on trampolines.
All right, Henry, get right on that. I have some women in mind here. I'm sure Greg Stocker would approve. The FCC would have no problem with that.
I mean, well, we should do it the real way and, have trans women jumping on trampolines.
And Jimmy Kimmel was also Mr. Blackface. He got a summer vacation a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah.
Because of blackface.
Yeah,
So we're all supposed to forget this, and this guy's going to lecture to us. And he's going to lecture about civility and all that. Here's Jimmy Kimmel talking about Kimberly Guilfoyle, the wife-to-be of Don Trump Jr., our big guest tonight in Collingswood. She was speaking at this fundraiser, this victory thing in Florida. All right, if he thinks her pronunciation, her accent on comeback, you'll hear, that's fair game to poke fun at her. But listen to what else Kimmel calls her in context of Don Jr. Here's Kimmel.
Meanwhile, down south, Trump's future daughter-in-law, Kimberly Guilfoyle, was wowing the crowd at the Florida Republican Party victory dinner.
And Act 3 is the art of the comeback.
The art of the what?
The art of the comeback.
Oh, the art of the comeback. Okay. These people, they hate Drag Queen Story Hour. No problem with that.
All right, so Dan, the clear implication when you see the screen, I'll ask you and Henry. You can tell me you tell me if I'm wrong. He's saying this is drag queen stuff with Kimberly Guilfoyle.
I think he's alleging that, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Henry.
Yeah, he can't be referring to anything else. Like,
right.
Watching that clip with the context, too, he's not referring to anything else.
Okay, so look, this is bitter, this is divisive, but is this where we are? Is this where we're going? That this is Don Trump Jr.'s drag queen. And then Trump is the nasty one. Look, Trump says things over the course of time, we know, that distract from the things we ought to be talking about. There's agreement on that. But guys like Kimmel, Colbert, there's a viciousness here that is incredible. And particularly from a dope, an all-time dope. So Don Trump Jr. with us tonight. This is the type of thing. And Walter Sterling last night, I was on with him, gave me a question I'm going to ask him. See, and this was Walter's. I wrote it down almost word by word, and I'll credit him tonight. No, it wasn't some wild thing. No. He said it appears to him, I know he brings up his daughter all the time, that the Don Trump Jr., Eric Trump and all that, they seem to speak incredibly well of the father. Now, we know the rough side of Trump. And so does the granddaughter, Kai, the golfer. So he said, ask Don Trump Jr. to talk about that. Where does that come from? It seems to be real to him. And I wrote it down, and I think it's question 8. The first 7 questions are about the debate. Now, I have a sense I only get one in before I'll have to interrupt and go to question 2 or 3 or 4 here with Don Trump on the debate. He also said yesterday in Ohio, he's been stumping for this Bernie Moreno, that it's time for American parents to take their kids out of public schools. By and large, I agree with that. I mean, public schools, by and large, are just a huge part of the problem. If you can afford it, find a school that you like. That's why we don't have school choice. They couldn't compete. So there's a lot to talk about tonight, even a lightning round. Dan's working up some. You can hit me on Twitter. I like the lightning round. It's always a lot of fun with a cooperative guest, Dan. I did it with Rand Paul, you may remember. I think Mitch McConnell was the third one. Mm-hmm. Because there you get some snap thing that's kind of funny most of the time. Sometimes it's pretty involved. I'm going to lead off with Taylor Swift in the lightning round, but I have a bunch of others there. Jimmy Kimmel will be one of them based on this. I think by then everybody will know about this. I don't have to bring it up per se. Do you have one, Dan, that you think we ought to ask him?
I'm really curious just about this because I love the personal information behind these people. Just taking us inside his daily day, and a guy that's so loaded. Is he, a normal guy? What's his day look like?
Okay, all right, we'll ask that too. Side question today. Well, coming up, I didn't want to lead with it because this drag queen thing got me. I also have. New York Post did an astounding job today of the things that David Muir and the co-hosts could have said fact check on. I'd rather not do all this fact check stuff. I mean, you could do it with every things I've said right now. Dan and Henry could be fact check. They could be screaming out. And that guy Dale, the guy that's a fact checker, doesn't he look out of Central Casting, the nerdish look? Hey, you're wrong, fact check. Any second of the day, technically, we could be fact-checking and saying anything. But they've come up with a list. I gave you the one with Charlottesville. I have about 4 or 5 others here. But the story of the day to me is 100, the article, Dan, says 100 Wawa stores, and I want to get into it next, so hold yours. You couldn't use your credit card, debit card, or whatever today. I need to hear from somebody who was in one of those stores. Was there panic in River City? Were people jumping out of windows? It was only cash. Oh, my God.
Utopia.
Yeah, to me. Hey, step aside. I'm moving right to the center line. Cash is king. How many times do we say that? I cut that for Luke and DJ. I'm going to have to make sure they read it. There'll be a quiz on it. Why you always need cash.
Well, I think it's proof, too, to your point. If you go full credit, there's absolutely what happens then?
Oh, my God.
Could you imagine? Your business just closed. If the computers are down, you're screwed.
Or people riot. I'm getting Wawa coffee. I can't start the day. I'll pay you later.
Knowing Wawa, they'd have a free coffee day.
Free coffee day. Well, we'll give you the details. And if you were in one of those stores or work there, I'd love to hear it. What happens when things go down? Do you shut up or do you take cash? All right, side question now. Business making a bad decision gives us the great side question of the day. Campbell's soup. Is there anything more iconic that you shouldn't fool around with? And what are they over in Camden, the headquarters, right, Dan? I believe they are.
Yeah.
So it seems like they have somebody new, and here we go again. This is 155 years. But CEO Mark Close said in a statement, yeah, but that doesn't reflect the full breadth of the company. We have all these snack foods like Goldfish, Prego, V8.
So you're telling me
Snyder's.
It's like when Radio Shack changed it to the Shack because they don't want to be associated with only radio products.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was a thing?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, they did. Yeah. And why did they want our addresses anyhow? I don't know. That was in Seinfeld a dozen times. So they're taking out soup, and they're just calling it the Campbell's Company. Well, that could be anything in the world.
Another local company did that, and it's no longer Burlington Coat Factory. It's just Burlington.
Oh, man, that messes up my Burlington Coat Factory joke. Yeah, I don't like it.
What's the Burlington Coat Factory joke?
Well, about the Burlington Coat Factory district, not the fashion district downtown. Yeah, that's what it is.
The Burlington district.
The Burlington district.
Yeah,
so
it's ridiculous.
Once you have something that's golden, remember I told you that Trump is going to do, he said he was going to do Keep America Great Again. He comes out and he starts mocking it himself at his first rally. He knew you only get one shot in life, MAGA. Once you have that, don't fool around with it. It's Make America Great Again. Yeah, but you're the president now. Well, I'm still keeping it. I don't care. It sounds better. 155 years, they're taking out soup. Are they nuts? All right, so that's the side question. Give us not just a product. It could be any kind of idea. It could be any kind of change where it was not a change for the better. New Coke, of course, is off the board. That is an all-timer. When they did that, they recovered from it. But, my God, why would you fool around with that? Dan, how about yours?
I got a couple of them, Dom. First,
yes.
I'm going to say Nick Sirianni is a change that I don't support. He
In
has
what
been
way?
Terrible, in my opinion.
Really?
Well, he is horrible.
And the change
Oh.
that I'm talking about is firing Doug Peterson, and obviously we had a little there, and then the
Okay.
change into a Nick Sirianni ran team. And
Right.
what does the guy even do? He's
He's a
rah-rah
cheerleader.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You need a rah-rah
what do
guy.
you freaking do, man?
Yeah.
That's not enough for me. So, yeah, that's my big one today, Dom. So I'll get you some more as we go on.
Okay.
You want another one?
He grabbed Nick Sirianni.
I'll go the other one.
Check
Serious?
that
That was
box.
a left field.
Poor
He
Nick
said that,
Sirianni,
no, that was the
yes.
football one that superseded
Okay.
my other one. But the
Right.
other one that I'm still frustrated with is the change of the name to the Washington Commanders.
Yes.
And while I
Okay.
recognize the Redskins might be a bit controversial, they couldn't do better than the crappy name that I can't remember on a week-to-week basis.
All true.
The
Redskins
commies.
was, the commies.
Yeah.
Henry, how about yours?
So, mine, I'm going to go with a more food route again. I'll stick with Campbell's. How about Trix cereal? Trix cereal, when I was a kid, had all these wonderful shapes
Right.
and filled
Yes.
with colors. And then probably when I was about a teenager, that's when they just flipped it to Puffs. And then there was a few years ago, they completely took all the coloring out of the Puffs anyway, so it was just a bland cereal. I believe they went back to it. But Trix is another one where it's like, what are you guys doing?
So disappointing.
That on top of it, they also don't make the yogurt anymore. And the yogurt was fantastic. So
not-
Trix, what are you doing?
All right.
I don't like the changes.
It's a
Yes.
new box here that we got to explore. It's
All
obsession
right.
with tricks. I like it.
Yes.
Is
all
the
right.
rabbit even there anymore?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Like it's
So-
another one.
We're looking broadest sense of some change, and you go, that doesn't make sense.
It's not for the better.
I'll give you one I'm never going to say. And we even have a PSA. I don't care how many. I'm never going to say Smokey the Bear. Smokey Bear.
Oh,
He's not a person. He doesn't have a first
what's his
and last
last name?
It's Smokey the Bear.
No, he's
because
Smokey
he's a
Bear.
bear. No, he's not. Freddie the Cat, not Freddie Giordano.
You call him
Doesn't
Philly
work
the
that way.
Fanatic?
Yes, the Fanatic. The
Well, he's not. He's not a fanatic, right? What?
Fanatic.
He's from the Galapagos Islands,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but the Fanatic. He's got the "the" there, not just, hey, Fanatic. All right, here's Smokey. 855-839-1210. Hit us on the side, but also your comment on this. Is this fair game, no matter how much antagonism? Drag queen stuff with Jimmy Kamal. All right, 855-839-1210. Those tickets tonight, get in, 1210WPHT.com. Joe of Exton, we believe, Dan, it's almost set. There's going to be a grand entrance. I have the red carpet ready for him. Is going to be there tonight, thanks to our Earl of Tacony.
It's funny you say
Yes.
that. I just got an email from his son,
Yeah.
Joe's son,
Right.
confirming that Earl and he spoke, and they will be carpooling together.
You think he'll be a showman and have the beret or ascot on tonight?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But Alex, I do ask you, if you happen to be listening, or I know
Yeah.
Joe's listening, why don't you put on that record button on your iPhone and record the conversation between Joe and Earl, because I'm sure
Yeah,
there's going to be some interesting conversations happening in that vehicle.
We'll play some of it tomorrow. All right, good time to get in. Bill O'Reilly in the On Deck Circle at 12:30 here on Talk Radio 1210.
Cancer, a scary word, but not so scary if you have the right team. Hi, this is John DeMasi, host of Health Watch, Sundays at 8 and again at 4 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. And that team is Dr. Molly Fantasia and the medical staff at Innovative Medical Associates. Yes, cancer is a scary word and a difficult condition if you've been diagnosed. Over the years, the staff at Innovative Medical Associates has helped hundreds of patients with their unique medical hydration protocols. Cancer support is a large part of the practice at Innovative Medical Associates.
We believe in medical hydration. We've improved it so much that we are able to help people across the board with challenges before they become chronic.
Talk about improving your quality of life. Most likely, that'll happen when you visit Innovative Medical Associates. Check them out on the web at innovativemedicalassociates.com or call 856-489-0505 to schedule your initial complimentary consultation.
Is your home cold and drafty, or windows and doors just won't open like they used to anymore? Brighten your home with new doors and windows from Emmons Roofing and Siding.
We offer a wide selection to fit your style and budget, ensuring energy efficiency and aesthetic appeal.
And new doors and windows enhance your home's value and comfort.
Call us today at 856-885-6677 or visit us at callemmons.com.
From top to bottom,
To inside and out.
at Emmons, we have you covered.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-513-4444. 800-513-4444. 800-513-4444.
We'd like to thank everyone who has generously donated to this year's Catholic Charities Appeal. Because of your support, we've already raised over 50% of our goal, but we haven't crossed the finish line yet. Did you know that 1 in 5 people in our community rely on the appeal for vital assistance and hope? Your donation makes a real difference, providing food, shelter, education, and so much more. We can finish strong. Visit CatholicCharitiesAppeal.org to give today. Every gift brings us closer to our goal and closer to changing lives. Thank you.
Hey, Ambler. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Follow us anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
All right, Tom Giordano Show. You got the side question. Imagine getting rid of Campbell's soup. Yeah, some guy said historic name change, 155 years. We're a lot more. You know, we have to get the V8 juice in and the Snyder's pretzels. What about that? Pepperidge Farm we have. Prego. Why are we going to be emphasizing soup here under this umbrella? Wow. Let's hope this guy's never in government. That's my, I give it 6 months, Dan. They'll go through wintertime when people are saying, what's that? It's Campbell's soup? There is no such thing, sir. It's Campbell's. That doesn't sound right to me.
You want to know a couple that might have been good changes for rebranding?
Yes.
Google's original name. Do you happen to know what it was?
Was it something with ABC?
Backrub.
Okay,
What?
It was?
Yeah, Backrub. Yeah. Larry Page, Sergey Brin coming up with a name for the search engine. They hit it on Backrub. Hard to believe, we know, but there's actually some science to it. It was all related to the way their creation analyzed the web's backlinks to establish how important a website was. And Amazon, Dom, originally Cadabra was the original name of Amazon.
That just made me think of another really bad one.
Yeah. Well, my only one with Amazon is, you know what? I realize you think you're just dominating the world. They ought to be made to park their trucks. I know they want to move for good. I get that, Dan. You can't block streets up because you're going to be delivering I'm serious. We experience this all the time.
Yeah.
It's constant. They ought to be
horrible.
ticketed. Henry, I'm sorry to interrupt. You had something?
No, I thought of another good one, but I
Yeah.
want to see if someone else comes up with it.
Okay. All right. By the way, little update now. Through Taylor Swift, through her website with this endorsement, there was a link to go to a custom URL. That's what it was. That Swift posted on Instagram when she announced she was endorsing Harris as of 2 p.m. yesterday. So God knows now what it is. 337,000 people visit the link to register to vote. The good news is most of these people doing this, I'm still predicting a great number of them are not going to vote. The ones that are going to vote, they're going to vote on one thing, not because of what Taylor Swift said about Trump and chaos. She's going to have to really get down there and tell them, you want those abortions. You know, get Jack Nicholson. You want the abortion room. You want to get abortions. And the New York Post, on their fact-checking today, one of their fact checks, and I'll give you these throughout, that they could have brought up. Kamala Harris claimed, nowhere in America is a woman carrying a pregnancy to term and asking for an abortion. That's not happening. The Heritage Foundation's Daily Signal and the New York Post points out Minnesota had a 2015 law that required doctors to report whether abortions resulted in the live birth of a baby. In 2021, it happened at least 5 times, a live birth. But no measures were taken then to keep that baby alive. In 2023, Governor Tim Walz stripped out that reporting requirement as part of an abortion law that has no limitations on how late in a pregnancy it may happen. So, look, we don't want to fight the abortion laws every day. The obvious takeaway from this debate should be Trump is the moderate on this. Kamala Harris is defending the radical position. And Tim Walz, now this will come up in the vice presidential debate, And I'm telling you now, I'm going to ask O'Reilly. I'm in the camp that J.D. Vance is going to show you how to handle the media in this next debate. And he ought to do this debate. Those of you cowering here and thinking you're strong, saying, don't do any more debates, are you crazy? Kamala Harris will run wild with the media if we don't have another debate. Walz will eat his way across the country. J.D. Vance is going to take him apart on this, and I hope the first thing he does is to push back when the media starts, particularly Norah O'Donnell. I have bad Norah O'Donnell experiences, Dan. I was on several shows with her, if you can imagine. My God, try getting a word in edgewise. All right. Bill O'Reilly is next. And then we will take some change that was made that you didn't like. He's got another book out, Confronting the Presidents. I can't bring anybody, though, that I think has insight, that's good insight into President Trump and what went on here, better than Bill O'Reilly. He's next on Talk Radio 1210. Let me tell you first, though, about Captain Chucky's school underway, hectic schedules all the way around, football games. It all adds up, something good to eat. Let Captain Chucky's manage your meal planning. Get the all-new wild shrimp scampi ravioli. Chucky's teaming up with Vera Pasta, offering lobster, crab, and now wild shrimp ravioli. And that Bang Bang jumbo lump crab cake. That delicious, creamy 5-ounce jumbo lump breaded crab cake with a kick for those who like to spice it up with some heat. But how about all the other offerings? The Dom roll, the salads, the soups. Yeah, great soups. They're not afraid to call it soup. And they only use the highest quality ingredients. It's always wild caught, that Gulf shrimp, which is maybe second to the crab cake, never farm raised. Here's what you do. Go to WeLoveCrabCakes.com, WeLoveCrabCakes.com. You'll see all the stores and hours. Headed to the shore, Captain Chucky's at theshore.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our Timeshare Exit Information Kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Bob Casey, a familiar name, but ask yourself, what's he done for you and your family? In his 18th year in Washington, what's Bob Casey got to show for it? He made sure COVID relief checks could go to convicted felons. You heard that right. Bob Casey made sure COVID checks went to convicted felons. When reasonable people tried to stop murderers and rapists from getting checks, Casey voted no. Even the Boston Marathon bomber ended up with a big fat check. Casey voted the party line instead of using some common sense. And with families struggling to pay the bills, Casey had this to say about throwing around their tax dollars.
Go big or go home.
Bob Casey went big. He botched it. And it's time for him to finally go home. Bob Casey is wrong for Pennsylvania. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
The pleasant September weather continues across the Delaware Valley today. We'll have a mixture of sunshine and clouds. It'll be warm with a high temperature a bit above average at 84. Tonight, partly cloudy, some fog possible, low 64. And for Friday, partly sunny and warm again with a high 84.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. For over 35 years, we've grown by offering our clients more offices, more lawyers, and recovering more than $20 billion. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Broadcasting live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
All right, Dom Giordano Show. You know where I was the other night. I finagled my way into the spin room. Well, we have the master of no spin with us, Bill O'Reilly, the current book, Confronting the President's No Spin Assessments from Washington to Biden. All right, let's go to Bill O'Reilly on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Bill, another great read. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thanks for reading it, Dom. Many interviewers do not do that. You do, and I really appreciate it.
Well, and I always find things, the big takeaway for me in this book, Bill, that you really underline, it's not just sickness and death in the presidency. It's a water supply, the causes of it, tracing it back, that and U.S. Grant going wild with the wife, and suddenly we were having 22-course dinners in the White House.
Yeah, Julia, love that. What we try to do here in Confronting the Presidents is make these people human beings. So there's 45 of them, not very many in our illustrious history. And unfortunately, most Americans don't know anything about any of them because it's not taught in public schools anymore. And what you get is a mythologizing of presidents. And people don't know they were actually people who did good and bad things. And what I did in each chapter was told you who they were, what they did, and then you as the reader can make up your mind whether they helped or hurt the country. You don't rank them. We don't do any of that. I do give my opinion in some chapters, but it's not an extensive opinion, and it's all based upon what we have on the pages. But it's a lot of fun to read, and that's the key to all the Killing Book success. And now we're starting the Confronting series. But you learn something on every page, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And look, again, remember the blow-up even with George Will because of Reagan. The Reagan you present in here doesn't, I think, quite go down. But you don't have the detail on those pages. And I think you give him his full due for what he accomplished. Listeners should know at the end of every chapter on the president, you go over the accomplishments. And with many of them, it's rather thin of what happened during their 4 or 8 years.
Well, here's something fascinating. So Kamala Harris' campaign is based on the campaign of Warren Harding. Now, if you go out, Dom, to Independence Square today and walk around Philly and say to people, hey, how about that Warren Harding? They go, yeah, it's a rapper, right? He's a rapper. I know Warren. Nobody knows anything about him. Yet the same exact techniques that got the Republican Harding into the presidency in 1920 are being used today with Kamala Harris. No interviews, okay? Very tightly controlled message. And Harding didn't even campaign. You want to see Warren, you had to go to Marion, Ohio. He's up there on his porch and waving to you, and that's it. And he was terrible. And he won in a landslide because Americans are fed up with Woodrow Wilson and 8 years of Democrats with World War I and all that. So Harding Ross is in there, and he's one of the worst presidents ever, screws everything up. And we have the exact same thing here. We don't know anything about Kamala Harris. She refuses to answer any questions whatsoever, just like Warren.
Yeah, that is a great insight. Now, Bill, I was in the spin room on Tuesday. I only saw Bill O'Reilly coming into a room once. It was a book event. You probably don't remember it, for McAuliffe. But O'Reilly was there, Baryshnikov, Chelsea was there, Mike Wallace, Barbara Walters. But I remember the stir when you came into the room because you were trying to get some of these people on the show or at least say hello to them. The spin room to me is amazing that anything comes out of it at all. It's just a mob scene that is incredible.
I don't have any use for any of that anymore. I had to do it when I was anchoring at Fox. But Trump's coming here about 2 miles from where I live on Long Island on Wednesday, and I got a whole bunch of calls. Are you going to come down? I go, for what? What do I want to sit there for 90 minutes in a Trump rally for? I know exactly what he's going to say. I'm not going to learn anything there. I'm a journalist. I don't want to be a Trump campaign person. I made it quite clear I'm going to vote for Trump. And I usually don't do that, Dom, as you know.
Yeah.
But I have to now because Kamala Harris is so dangerous to the country. And that's my opening monologue tonight on the No Spin News on BillO'Reilly.com. It has in a million other outlets. But she's just dangerous, flat out dangerous, much more dangerous than Biden. And you saw what happened when he got elected. So at this point in our history, it doesn't really matter to me what the spinner room does or what any of those people do. I run my own independent news agency, the most successful independent news agency in the world.
Exactly.
I have my opinion.
Bill, I wanted to interrupt, though, and ask you this. So I was thinking of you immediately, though. I'm there in the spin room with these people, some of them cheering on David Muir. The woman, the lightweight there that was put in there, I expected she would fact-check in that manner. I thought this guy was a little bit better. This was as bad as anything that I've seen. But equally, Bill, Trump had an easy opportunity to go after Muir in this.
Of course he did. And that's why I don't have any sympathy for the former president. He knew what he was getting into. Look, ABC News does not have one conservative voice on any of its news programs at any time. Not one. What does that tell you?
Mm-hmm.
So Trump knew he's going in. Muir isn't an ideologue. Muir does what he's told to do. All right? Muir could be working for Action 6 Philly News. Okay? He's not Peter Jennings. He's not. He's just there. The other one, Lindsay Davis, is an ardent liberal. Ardent. So all Trump had to do was narrate what was happening in real time. That's all he had to do. And I told him that. I said, look, they're going to, in a series of commentaries, I said, this is what's going to happen, exactly what I said happened. They're going to load up on stuff you've said, controversial stuff, and throw it to her so she can hammer you. Just narrate it. Just tell the audience what they are doing. Okay? When they load her a softball, like Donald Trump said he's going to put people in jail for 2020 fraud, you know that's coming. Well, just turn to the audience and say, do
Bill,
I get a softball?
and that's exactly what I would say. And, Trump on his feet in his own way is pretty good. This was a layup when the Charlottesville thing, again, to bring that up and say, I knew you were going to be biased, but this has been proven by the left-wing organizations. They don't say it. And then, Bill, can't you say to David Muir, so ABC News then, David, you represent that. You're the face. You're saying ABC News says what Harris said about that is true.
Look, you can even go beyond that and set the tone for the messages that you want. Let me give you a very clear example of how easy this is. So Trump's main theme in that debate was open border, chaotic immigration. At least 7 times. But he didn't do it in a way that people would remember. All he had to do was say, before I answered that question, David or Lindsay, I want to just say something right now. To the family of Lake and Riley in Georgia, I want to apologize to you on behalf of the United States. Your daughter should still be alive. And I would like the Vice President to join me in that apology.
That is fair game. If you want to come out and do the handshake and all the rest of it, join me in the apology. So, Bill, I'm saying he ought to do another debate because she's vulnerable, and learning what he did that he did not do in this, he can turn it on O'Donnell, who I think is a lightweight, and I've been on a lot of shows with her. Brennan, I think, is a little bit tougher, but he can turn it back on them if they do the same thing. Do you think he should do another debate?
I'd do a debate even if Putin put it together in Vladivostok. I would go there. And I'm going to cite confronting the presidents. So in 1984, Walter Mondale, of all people, the most boring man on earth, whacked Ronald Reagan in the debate.
Exactly.
Blew him right out of the water. And Reagan looked doddering. I used the clip last night on the No Spin News, how bad he looked. Then in debate 2, Reagan fired his people and brought in Roger Ailes, the creator of Fox News, and a bunch of others. And then he just wiped Walter out in the second debate and then won in the landslide. So Trump would be made a mistake. The Harris campaign made a mistake by being so cocky. So, oh, yeah, we want a second debate. Okay. But I'm not sure at this point in his life whether Donald Trump can focus enough on the things that matter. Not the things that matter to him, but the things that matter to the voters.
Yeah.
That gulf is widening, and it's why he is ahead.
Bill, any other insights now that you've made on all your shows and interviews from the book, Confronting the Presidents, that you see playing out now? Several good examples right here that we've seen before from the book. Anything else you'd like to add?
Well, there's a level of deception that has always been in American politics. So not all of the presidents, but many of them, Lyndon Johnson is the best example, outright deceived the American public. And they were able to get away with it because the press, after World War II, became increasingly corrupt. And now it is its all-time high of corruption today. So we are entering into an election where deception is so strong that unless you listen to people like Dom Giordano, Bill O'Reilly, people who are actually interested in bringing accurate information to people, and we are few. Most are choir masters. They are spitting and propagandizing to a certain group so they can make money. That's what most people do now. So the level of deception has been constant throughout our history. But now with Kamala Harris, the most honest thing she has said is, I have not changed my values. My values are the same.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. And her values are off the chart radical left.
Without a doubt. Bill, congratulations. Confronting the Presidents, No Spin Assessments from Washington to Biden. A great book. And again, I think particularly you got somebody in high school or freshman year or something like that. You want to give a gift. You want to have them informed and be entertained by this. Turn them on to it. This is the book.
Even college. those kids in college, it's like, oh, Woodrow Wilson, what? LBJ, who?
Warren G. Harding, Rutherford B. Hayes. What a treatise on Rutherford B.
Warren
Hayes.
Harding,
Yes.
You got to love the man. Wait till you read him. Oh.
Okay. Hey, Bill, thank you so much. Thanks for joining us.
Always fun, Dom. Thanks for having me in.
Bill O'Reilly here on Talk Radio 1210. All right. Great stuff. You heard what he said? Is that Putin can arrange it, Vladivostok, Moscow, Kiev, wherever. Do the debates. J.D. Vance is going to show you how to deal with the media in this. You heard what O'Reilly said. You're not hearing anybody else that close to Trump that supports Trump, but said a couple things. One, narrate what they're doing. Say it in answering this. Hey, the American people see what you're doing here. David Muir, I object. Sit down. And also, call them out on fact-checking things like Charlottesville. I have a bunch of others that were here. I'm not sure why Trump didn't do that. Would he do it in the second debate? If that's a point of emphasis, and in the prep, he works on that. Another thing, get rid of this idiot, Laura Lomer, who was on the plane with him. Dan, did you see Marjorie Taylor Greene? Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene is pretty far right. Is calling her out and saying this is exactly what you don't need around Trump.
Wow.
And she was on the plane flying with him from Florida to Philadelphia. And I can hear her, oh, you got to go with the animal thing, constantly. Get her out of there.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Get her out of there.
Yeah.
There are people like, sit with O'Reilly. I'd make O'Reilly maybe just the sole quarterback coach on this. Tulsi Gabbard, national security. He did well in national security. Just in real time, narrate what they're doing here and what she's doing. That's the answer to this. They object. Be ready when they object what you're going to say. Now, Nora O'Donnell's going to try to make a splash here if there is another debate.
Brennan, audio, by the way.
Brennan is tough, but I think she will not be as bad as Norah O'Donnell. You have audio of whom?
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about this Lomer character.
And this is such an important election. I don't think that she has the experience or the right mentality to advise a very important president.
Why do you think the former president is even listening to her? You think she's getting bad advice, or he's getting bad advice from her?
I'm not involved in their conversations, so I can't weigh in on that. But I do know this, that her rhetoric and her tone does not match the base, does not match MAGA, does not match most Republicans I know. And I'm completely denouncing it. I'm over it. And I would encourage anyone else that matches her statements to stop.
She accused her, and they were vile racial statements about VP Kamala Harris. So you can blame Trump and say, well, he doesn't have to listen to what she... Get her out of there. Marjorie Taylor Greene is right on this. You need a team of people like O'Reilly and a few others that I could name. Not Lomer sitting on the plane there, telling Trump, you don't imagine what they're doing. Then he blurts out the animals thing. In other words, what are you afraid of in the second debate? Well, it won't be fair. I agree with you. We know that. The only calculation, there's only two calculations here. Can Trump pull this off? That's what O'Reilly just talked about. And two, does it matter? I know some of you are comforting yourself and saying it doesn't matter. And I have evidence here that it doesn't matter overwhelmingly. In other words, there's evidence in independents and others. There's a lot of checking going on out there that this was not a slam dunk for Kamala Harris. That's true. Remember, though, how close we are into this election. So you believe Trump can't pull this off by doing what we just talked about. I believe he can. Maybe not perfectly, but enough. It's doable against her. All right, some big change. Oh, Dan, I see one that I think is pretty good here. Yeah. We'll get to that. I'll save that one up.
Some three good ones on
the
board.
Yeah, three
right
good
now.
ones.
Yeah.
Excellent ones.
And Newman on Twitter, Dom,
Yes.
going back to your commentary about Amazon driver when we were talking brands.
Yes.
Says, damn right, Dom, they need to start ticketing Amazon drivers. They're out of control, thinking they can park anywhere and ignoring traffic laws in general.
I've seen it, Dan, streets in Mount Airy, Germantown, where I am, where there's spaces. I'm not saying parallel parking.
Mm-hmm.
You could just pull into a space and you'd be able to get out easily.
Yeah.
No, they choose like they're robbing a bank, a fast getaway. And I'm not blaming them. They're taught that they have to do that.
It's infuriating because time after time you're on a one-way road, right? And
Exactly.
on your left there's parking, on your right there's parking.
Right.
And time again I'm traveling to Brewery Town to see a friend of mine, and I get stuck behind an Amazon truck with his hazard lights on, right next to a completely wide open parking space, and just decided he didn't want to take the time to, parallel park into the space, and would be easier to inconvenience the 6 people that gathered behind him in their car honking their horns.
And that's when trouble starts.
Yep.
We can't save snow things, but how about an Amazon director from the Philadelphia Police? Please notice these companies like Amazon, USPS, and all that, we're going to ticket you. All right, more calls coming up, 855-839-1210. Let's talk about Dr. Bentz. I've told you for years about my friend, dentist, and board-certified prosthodontist, Dr. Robert Bentz, and the Bentz Dental Group. Dr. Bentz is known for helping people overcome fear and anxiety of any sort, even mild, and that puts off going to the dentist or doing the right things. Dan, I was never a fan of the electric toothbrush. I don't know why. I'm a contrarian. Just one day he looked at me and let's try that. He convinced me. He's a convincing guy. And you'll get tips like this. You'll get great dentistry, and then the staff and the infrastructure to back it up. That 3D printer is incredible. It is the Bentz Dental Group, my dentist for years. Find them at BentzDentalGroup.com or call them for your appointment today at 610-272-6949. BentzDentalGroup.com. Tell them Dom G sent you. 610-272-6949.
Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
I'm telling you what happened last night. If you don't like that, I don't care. We'll talk about it. I'll give you my phone number, and I'll also explain to you the way the tooth fairy works. You can live in that bubble, but I try not to. Even though I'm rooting my ass off for Trump, and I want her to go down in flames, that was not a great night for Trump. We all can say ABC News should cease to exist. They have no credibility. That was a disgrace. There's no good with ABC. It was all bad and ugly. So if that bothers you, that's fine.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Chase wants everyone to be able to have a place of their own. That's why we offer mortgages that help you purchase your new home with down payments as low as 3%. To find out more about our low down payment options and other ways Chase can make your home buying dreams a reality, visit chase.com/homebuyer or your local Chase branch. Loan amount, loan value, and loan product type limits apply. Geographic restrictions may apply for jumbo loans. Products are subject to credit and property approval. Program terms are subject to change without notice. Other limitations and restrictions apply. Home lending products provided by JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Wawa has new Southwest flavors like the roasted chicken fajita veggie quesadilla.
Fajita veggies?
Or the beefsteak burrito with salsa roja.
Salsa roja? Love.
You can also add fire roasted corn and crispy jalapenos.
No way. All from Wawa.
Oh, you bet. Wawa's always keeping things fresh. And this time, it's with delicious Southwest flavors. Try them in a burrito, bowl, or quesadilla and build it just how you like it. Gotta have a Wawa.
Now, your ideas don't have to wait. Dell Technologies and Intel are pushing what technology can do. Bring your ideas to life at Dell.com.
40 days to lose up to 40 plus pounds with NJ Diet. It only takes 40 days to lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds. NJ Diet uses your hair, saliva, and blood work to personalize supplements that will target your hormonal imbalances so you can lose that weight. Then NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help you keep it off. Call Dr. T, 855-5NJ-DIET, or go to njdiet.com. 40 days up to 40 pounds, 40 days up to 40 pounds, NJ Diet.
Do you have $10,000, $20,000, or $30,000 in debt? Then listen to this. You may not be required to pay it all back.
I was drowning in debt.
I had over $36,000 in debt. If I would have just made the minimum payments, it would have taken me 59 years to pay off.
Whether it's credit card, medical, or personal loan debt, National Debt Relief can help significantly reduce what you owe. In fact, debt relief payments can be 50% less than your monthly credit card payments. That's right, half as much as you're paying now.
National Debt Relief reduced my debt by over $27,000.
With National Debt Relief, you have a powerful team that knows how to talk to your creditors.
National Debt Relief, they got me out of debt.
More than 550,000 Americans have used National Debt Relief to reduce their debt. Call 800-649-6464 to see if you qualify to settle your debt for a fraction of what you owe. 800-649-6464. That's 800-649-6464.
At Wawa, you can always find the right drinks for the right time. And Wawa's pumpkin drinks are back sooner than ever, so you can enjoy the best of summer and fall. Enjoy a pumpkin brulee milkshake by the pool. Sip a pumpkin cheesecake smoothie while skateboarding. Or take a pumpkin spice iced coffee on a camping trip. At Wawa, anytime is drink time. And now's the time to feel cool and cozy with Wawa's new pumpkin flavors. Available in milkshakes, cream smoothies, and iced coffee. Gotta have a Wawa.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's also what a lot of us lack in our basement or garage. By switching to a Navien tankless water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles. Highly logical. Learn about Navient's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills too. For more, go to tanklessmadesimple.com.
This is a commercial for California Psychics, America's most trusted psychic network. So, if you're waiting for a sign, this is it. No, really, this is it. You won't see your soulmate's face in the clouds or your career path mapped out in your cappuccino foam. This really is it. We could add some dramatic sound effects if you'd like. So what you waiting for? Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Hey, Southampton. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Dom Giordano's show. Great guests coming up at 1 o'clock. Dom's Money Melody a little bit later on tonight. Don Trump Jr. Tickets at 1210WPHT.com. Dan there, Roe there. A lot of local luminaries showing up, and our own Joe Evexton there, along with Don Trump Jr. We played you that Jimmy Kimmel thing. Man, you talk about brutal from a dope. All right, coming up. This town of Charleroi, somewhere in rural Pennsylvania, Reckless driving so bad, a councilman has a solution you won't believe, and we're trying to locate him, get him on. But we're going to talk to the lawyer for a dad in Bristol Township. His son hasn't returned to school since being bloodied in a cafeteria incident last spring, pushed into a table by an older child at special ed. They won't let him see the video. Remember what happened with the Stanley Cups? Remember that? The bashing, the whole thing associated with that? This reminds me of that story. Why do school districts continue to do this? I'll tell you why, because they think they can get away with it. All right, we'll get into that next here on Talk Radio 1210.
When you go on vacation, does it make sense to have someone else pack for you? Of course not. The same can be said for your retirement. Your 401k could be packed with things you don't know about or even need. If you're close to retirement but don't have a plan customized to your goals, that's kind of like taking a 30-year vacation with no idea what's in your suitcase. Seems like a stressful way to start what should be a relaxing time. Jim Cipriotti and the Retire Ready Financial Group can help you unpack your savings and build a plan to help reduce future taxes, along with a clearly defined income strategy. Call Jim at 610-894-7415 for your complimentary retirement game plan, or visit retirereadyfg.com. That's 610-894-7415.
Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC, NPN number 2083768.
Bob's Little Sports Shop, Delsey Drive in Glassboro, is your one-stop shop for firearms and firearm safety. Bob's now offers an expanded selection and classroom area, NRA-certified instructors for all your firearm education, and an indoor pistol range open daily.
I have heard the children crying and gunfire in the night. Freedom seems so far away, but still the people fight. Freedom is a fragile gift that has a heavy price. Battles won and battles lost, and many gave their life. What some men take for granted, others never see. To speak their mind and have no fear and live a life that's free. This happened in a foreign land not too long ago. Freedom is the greatest gift that everyone should know. To safeguard all our liberties and keep our country free, it's not up to the government, it's up to you and me.
Remember Bob's Little Sports Shop for firearms and firearm safety. Call 856-881-7575 or bobslittle.sportshop.com. Paid for by Bob's Little Sports Shop, Glassboro, New Jersey.
Businesses to watch. Thinking Chevrolet? Think Armin Chevrolet. Looking for the best compact SUV in the market? Armin has the stylish Chevrolet Trax with standard Chevy Safety Assist in stock and available for immediate delivery. Purchase a brand new Value Pack 2025 Chevrolet Trax LS for Armin's amazing price of only $20,995. That's $20,995. Businesses to watch. Thinking Chevrolet? Think Armin Chevrolet. Prefer to lease? Lease a new 2025 Trax LS from Armin for only $199 per month for 24 months with 10,000 miles per year. That's only $199 per month. Thinking Chevrolet? Think Armin Chevrolet. Closer than you think in Ardmore. Or shop 24/7 at arminchevy.com. That's arminchevy.com. Tax and tax additional. MSRP $21,495. Includes $500 healthcare professional or first responder rebate. Lease down payment of $39.95 and first payment due at signing requires current lease and household and Nature Bank approval.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, it is Dom time. Welcome in, everyone. Before we go to our guest, Dan just handed me some of the audience questions, and you can send me at Twitter or at domshow@aol.com. You can reach me. I might work them in tonight. Here's one, Dan, from Brian. Mr. Trump, would your father consider having a town hall meeting in Springfield, Ohio? There's the idea exactly what to do. Or in that Pennsylvania town, we got something on that, or Aurora, Colorado. Do it. The media will go wild, but I would do it. All right. We've been following this story. Grayson Callahan was pushed into a table, says the Inquirer, by an older child. The boy's father says the district is withholding the video. Why? And you remember the Stanley Cup beating. Remember that? And all the strange stuff with that? What are schools doing here? Our guest is the attorney for the dad, for the family, I believe, David Langsam, who is with injurylawpartners.com. I believe that's local. David's with us on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, David, welcome in.
Hey, Dom, thank you very much for having me. How are you?
Very well. So I don't know, David, if you remember that case. There were a lot of irregularities alongside this case. It's sort of a parallel path. And we still have not sorted it out over there in, where was it? Lansdale, North Penn School District. What is the reason that the district is withholding this video? So apparently, I think the dad is arguing it would help medically to see exactly what happened here for doctors and others.
Yeah, so I think, Dom, there are a couple of factors at play, and the one that we have seen here, which isn't uncommon, is that there is a privacy interest and a privacy concern on the part or on behalf of the other children that are in the video. And as is typically the case when we make a request for something that either happened in a school or on a school bus or in a medical facility that may have the identities of other patients in videos or photographs, we oftentimes get this type of response because disclosing that information would negatively impact some of those privacy rights that those other folks may have.
All right, but we have a situation here, I would think, that there must be a mechanism because this kid had a gash on his forehead and, quote, from the dad, teeth hanging flat forward from his gums. He had a different shirt on. Callahan, the dad, later noticed the shirt his son had worn to school was bloodied. So is there a way to, mask the identity of the other students in this?
Yeah, so one of the things I try to do in my line of work, Dom, is anticipate what my friends on the other side of the issue are going to say and then plan a couple of steps ahead to try to solve whatever the problem may be. And you did hit the nail on the head. There are mechanisms and tools available to take evidence like this, videos that may have otherwise protectable likenesses in them, and blur them. And this is, quite frankly, not a new or novel issue. This precise question has been in front of the Pennsylvania Supreme Court multiple times within the last couple of years in the context of folks making requests for information under the right to know law. And it is not as though it is the way that it was perhaps, I don't know, a decade ago, where taking a video and masking people's faces is a huge months-long exercise. It's not. Software is advanced, AI tools are advanced, and this is a process that really could take minutes, but ultimately in a situation like the one we have here, it's unlikely to ever be produced without a court ordering its production.
Is the other student, do we know that as a matter of law here, and have they specified he is a special ed student or she is a special ed student, the one that allegedly hit the kindergarten kid hard enough to do this damage?
Everything we know at this point is by way of the grapevine. So as I understand it, she, the special needs student, was a fourth grader. And beyond that, it's all just little bits and pieces that we've been able to cobble together. I'm
only a law school dropout, but I'll speculate on this. we get into, David, to these situations where there becomes a trend, and the trend seems to me that school districts and many government, and they're government related, they're going to put people through their paces. In other words, what skin is it off their nose if you have to go through freedom of information, lawsuits, get someone like you to be running all this down? If they win in the end, then they'll do it. And I'm not sure what they're protecting. What is the argument? We both just said, yes, with modern technology, and rulings have said this, they can blur anything they want. Isn't that obvious? I mean, how long does it take a court to then say, yeah, they got to do it?
Yeah, so it's, I guess, a philosophical question, Dom, in a lot of respects.
Yes.
Why make people go through the process? But I do respect the civil litigation process, and I did finish law school at Villanova, so shout out to the Wildcats. But I do appreciate the fact that everybody does have a client whose interests they need to serve. But in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, notwithstanding sovereign immunity issues, even if you're able to make a recovery, you're limited in what it is that you're able to come up with. So you're right that from the defense side of things, there's not really a lot of motivation to want to cooperate. But the process to get a judge to order the production of this material is one that could, quite frankly, take some time. And it costs folks money. It is an investment in emotional energy. And like we talked about right out of the gate, while there certainly are medical reasons why the doctors would be interested in seeing this to understand exactly what it is that happened, how significant was the impact, it also gets back to what I think is a real fundamental issue of fairness. As a parent in my own right of a 7, 5, and 3-year-old, if I got a phone call that something like this had happened to one of my kids, I would want to see it. I would want to know what happened, and if nothing else, because I am the parent of the injured child, I would feel as though I am entitled to get access to it.
Yeah. Does the special ed give any, David, any wrinkle of anything here that there's an added protection? Apparently, the special ed student had someone that was an aide to be with them and stepped aside for a moment?
Yeah, and that's an important part of the story because in so many respects, Dom, the special needs community that are part of our schools do get and should have the benefit of these added resources. And in this case, the intermediate unit providing that resource either by way of its own W-2 employees or through hired contractors, owed something to that portion of the student body. And in this case, while we don't know exactly what it is that happened, because, again, we haven't seen the video, it seems as though there were multiple students that were failed here.
Ah, okay. I got you. Well, that's what I think is sometimes a wrinkle in this. I don't know if you saw that Stanley, the kid bashed with it, and there were a lot of wrinkles like that as far as why direct action was not taken. So, well, David, thank you for coming on. Keep us in the loop on this. And I might add, the Inquirer says, too, the dad has taken the child out of school. There's a cyber issue. So this is a serious thing. And again, I'm a dad. You're a dad. He's a dad. Absolutely right. I would say even back in the prehistoric days where they had to go to great work to do this, I think a school district should be forced to comply immediately with this, that the fathers see what happened here. We're not living back in days where there's not video of things. This could be done with AI and everything else, probably in a half hour, I would think, or less. It should not be a federal case in this matter. So please, David, keep us in the loop on this.
Yeah, absolutely will do. I appreciate you having me on and look forward to talking with you soon.
Thanks, David. David Langsam here from Injury Law Partners. The dad is, just think about this as a dad. What makes these school districts do this? Sometimes there are ulterior motives. We thought in the situation in the other school district, remember that, the bashing was a transgender issue. Is that the case in Bristol, or they just say, no, we're going to hide behind the law? We're just not going to comply with this. We're not going to do that. You're going to have to force us to do it. Think about it. Kid's got a different shirt on. Hey, what the hell happened here? Gum's hanging out. No, we're not going to show you the video. Why do you need to see the video? Come on. Let's just get this kid help, and that's enough. All right, we'll stay on this. It's just another one of these maddening things that are happening. All right, 855-839-1210. You get a line. Coming up, we'll get to your call. Well, let me go to Joe in Columbus on the side question today. A change that happened that you think is awful. Campbell's Soup, if you're just joining us, right in our area, over in Camden, has so many other products are saying they're taking soups or Campbell's Soup out of the title. What? Well, it's not fair to Prego they have, and the Snyder pretzels, and the V8 drink. And we're heading into soup season. It's going to be interesting. 155-year tradition.
Pepperidge Farms.
Pepperidge Farms. Somebody comes in and says, no. It's always something that people like. That's there's nothing wrong with it. And somebody comes in. It's not as bad as Bud Light and the stuff that happened there. But when you mess with something, just think of the boardroom, Dan, of the new Coke. Guy comes in, we're going to call it New Coke. We're changing stuff here. Yeah, Coke, what the heck?
Why? How many years were they the top brand?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if they're the top brand in the world, the most identifiable. I've heard that over the years, that Coke, because of the bottle, too. The bottle is so distinctive that Coke is the thing associated with America. Big time. I don't know what else around the world, when you think of it, you think America, but Coke is that identifiable. You don't fool around with it. Yeah, but we're going to get this little sliver over here who doesn't like that Coke. Oh, really? That's what you're going to do. All right, let's go to Joe in Columbus, New Jersey on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Joe, what do you have?
Hey, Don. Well, Don, the mentality is let's tweak this thing till it breaks. And then you're sorry. You feel sorry for yourself. Don, before I get to my side question, I want to talk about the debate for 1 second.
Sure.
If that's all right with you?
Yeah.
There was a point early that night where I just said to myself, and I was just laying, pronate in bed, like relaxing, and I said, I'll be darned. She's doing to Trump what Tulsi Gabbard did to her. And that came early, where she was ostracizing and chiding. And I would really like Don Jr. tonight to answer the question, pride or ego. Do you think your dad underestimated the process that was, not the opponent, but the process that was coming at him? You don't underestimate, or you don't overestimate Harris, but the process and the strategy that came at him, I'm wondering if he underestimated it.
Okay. Yeah, definitely, Joe. I have it on the list here. And again, O'Reilly laid it out pretty well. Rather than having Laura Lomer there with you, you have a guy like O'Reilly. He made two good points. In real time, give commentary on what Muir and the other are doing. People don't like these people necessarily that like Trump or might vote for Trump. You're able to do that as long as you don't start screaming at them. You could do that pretty easily, and you win on that. The other thing is point out the fact checks. Actually say the word fact check. The Charlottesville thing is the easiest in the world. I don't know if Trump by that point, did he get influenced by the rally size and all? If he did, he's got to suck it up on that. I mean, that's so blatant. You got to win here. This guy's a master. He's gotten to where he is. Do not go after stuff like the size of your rally.
And Dom, if you're going to look, instead of looking into the camera, you're going to look at the moderators. Like, you got to account to them. You ask them, are you going to fact check this woman or this person here?
Yeah.
But I think we're on the same page.
Yeah, exactly.
My side question is this new NFL kickoff. They're tweaking it again, and I don't like it.
Well, we know why they're tweaking it. Let's face it, Joe. Now, I made my peace with this. I don't know about you. I'll tell you how I made my peace. The injury level is catastrophic when people get into their 40s, CTE and all this other stuff. So they made their peace with the idea, let them kick the ball out of the end zone or in the end zone every time. Don't have kickoffs, but you have to have kickoffs to have football. So now they're trying this new rule, which apparently kickers are having a lot of trouble with placing the ball in there. It looks weird.
Right.
It is weird. And the reason is the game at the size and speed of these players is going to result in a lot of injuries, particularly brain-related. So they're trying to curtail it.
Well, Tom, you know how I would try and buck the system. If I'm a kicker and all I got to do is kick all day long to practice, I'd learn how to get that ball up in the air higher than usual, let it land at about the 3-yard line.
All right, I think it's a little bit more difficult, but that's a good one, the NFL kickoff. Henry, which part do you differ with?
I don't even think it's about player safety at this point. It's because no one's returning kicks anymore.
Well, that's
long
why they're
gone are the
changing it,
days
right,
of Josh Cribbs, Devin Hester. There's no one in the NFL anymore. It's like that's a return specialist.
But the reason they made it impossible to return kicks was player safety.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's part of the reason, but like I like these new kickoff rules. I think they're good for the game. Because I think it's going to force these kickers to actually not just kick it out of the back of the end zone every time. You don't think Brandon Aubrey of the Cowboys could do that every time, or Jake Elliott? Of course they could. But now they actually have to place the kicks somewhere between.
So your argument is by week 12 to 15 they'll be doing that.
Yeah, I mean you already had one return kick this year for a touchdown. I bet Britton Covey does it this weekend, Monday night.
Oh, boy, put that on your FanDuel.
Yeah.
Change my FanDuel right there, Britton Covey. I'm putting that one in the next read. Okay, 855-839-1210. That's a good one. Some change that was made, that's ridiculous. All this stuff with Don Jr., I took down what he just said, what Joe just said. It's going to be fabulous tonight. I mean, it's almost breaking by the second, the stuff that Don Jr., he's just back from Ohio. I think he's flying in this afternoon from Ohio in the Senate race. But we played you Jimmy Kimmel with the drag queen for Kimberly Guilfoyle. It just doesn't get more intense. And I don't know if he's going to endorse the second debate or not. He's a fighter. I think he will. There's no way Trump should not do another debate. I think you just want to pretend what happened the other night is all right. It's not the end of the world. I have stacks of evidence here, but I think you're a fraud host if you're ignoring that this was just a draw or a good night for Trump. It's doable to take out the media and Harris at the same time with this stuff. I don't think she really wants to do another debate. I think Christie's right. She's just going to try to coast. It's Warren Harding. No interview. Now she's going to do the National Black Journalist. Oh, my God. Is there any hope that anybody will ask her anything other than a layup? And think of the way they confronted Trump. Right out of the box. Not even good afternoon, Mr. Former President, whatever they wanted to call him. Right out of the box it started. That's where she's going to be doing interviews. And Dan, she's going to do local media. Now, there might be a slip up there. Usually local media is thrilled to have someone like Kamala Harris. Like Channel 6 would be the local here, I guess, maybe. But sometimes somebody goes off script, and then there's a moment, but it's only a quick moment to see what they can do.
Yeah.
So that's what her strategy is going to be. If you don't get her into another debate, okay, you're saying things are so strong here, we're going to overcome this, we're going to win anyhow.
So do you think, though, there's a fear of, similar to before, doing phone interviews with locals, that they're going to essentially force them to ask certain questions? And
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So can I say there's somebody that's going to go off the reservation here, so to speak? Odds are pretty high, to your point, they won't. That in the National Black Journalist. Can you imagine one of these black journalists, I think it's on Wednesday, actually asking her a question about her policies that put her on the spot, that's aggressive, somewhat aggressive on her? I don't see it happening. This is what she's going to do. She's been getting away with it. The media in the tank. They don't care. They don't want to be the ones to interview her and actually get to the bottom of this stuff. They'd be afraid of the comeback here. It wouldn't be good. 855-839-1210. You get a line. You get him right now. Hit us on the side question, too, with Dom on Talk Radio 1210.
Talk Radio 1210's Huge Politics and Pints with Donald Trump Jr. is Thursday, September 12th. Be there at Host Dom Giordano talks to Donald Trump Jr. about the election, politics, and all things Trump. Thursday, September 12th at Scottish Rite Auditorium in Collingswood. Your tickets include a copy of Letters to Trump by former President Trump. A cash bar will be available. Get your tickets now at 1210WPHT.com.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
It's the start of another school year. Get your child or grandchild started off right. Special tutoring and custom instruction is available from METC, the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company. Now is the time to call Kathy Ganna and help get your child out of the gate strong. Call the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company. For over 30 years, METC's tutoring studio, founded by educator Kathy Ganna, has helped people of all ages grow personally and academically. Call Kathy today at 215-493-4200. METC offers motivational SAT prep as well as academic skills and leadership training. Call 215-493-4200. Visit online at METC.com. Call METC's tutoring studio today at 215-493-4200 or email Kathy directly at info@METC.com. Remember, 1210 listeners receive a free 1-hour consultation. Take advantage of this opportunity to help your child get one-on-one help. Call 215-493-4200. That's 215-493-4200.
Fargo, your virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Fargo is only available on the smartphone versions of the Wells Fargo mobile app. Wells Fargo Bank N.A., member FDIC.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are having two fabulous back-to-school specials. The 2024 S60 front-wheel drive sedan and the exciting electric C40 each can be leased for 36 months for $369. Do-it inception would be a down payment and taxes and registration fees. But in New Jersey, this C40 has no tax. The $369 is an incredible payment on each of these Cherry Hill Volvos. Visit Cherry Hill Volvo. Our team would be honored to partner with you.
Keep free speech alive. Follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
All right, Dom Giordano Show, 855-839-1210, AT&T and Verizon Wireless. All you have to do is just push pound 1210. Come into your calls. That's a good one, the kickoff rule on board. I mentioned New York Post did a great job today breaking down some of the areas. In fact, you think you would at least pretend, David Muir and Lindsay Davis, of the fact check. When Kamala Harris claimed, and this is an easy one, as of today, there's not one member of the United States military who's on active duty in a combat zone in any war zone around the world the first time this century. Fact check. Our troops in the Middle East are absolutely in a combat zone under attack from Iran and its surrogates. And the Biden-Harris administration has allowed this to grow more aggressive in its use of proxies. In January, 3 U.S. soldiers in Jordan killed by a drone attack from an Iran-aligned group. And dozens of others have been wounded in similar strikes. Are these people dopes? They don't know that? They're unsure about that tonight? Now, the New York Post says, even Project 2025, all right? When she kept on talking about that, they could have said, well, President Trump, former President Trump, has repeatedly said he's not involved in its writing, does not believe in its policies, and won't implement it. They could at least have said that for the record. I mean, the thing that the Trump administration, I think, some of them behind the scenes wanted out of the Project 2025 was to have people that they put in various offices that are not going to be the deep state, slowing everything up and doing things that are going to try to prevent a Trump agenda. But how about, here's another example, a simple one. Now, they may not have known this. They could have said, well, that's questionable, VP. She said the same individual took out a full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the execution of 5 young black and Latino boys who were innocent. I have a lot of doubts about that. The Central Park 5. She said he took out a full-page ad calling for their execution. Fact check, Trump's 1989 advertisement did not call for the execution of the Central Park 5. He talked about a woman raped in the park, but did not mention names of suspects, etc. Of course, the Charlottesville one is exactly the case. Even the stuff on fracking, they had to assuage Joe Manchin. That's why they put in or allowed some degree of fracking and licensing. And the last one, there's a thing called the Marshall Project. David Muir and the others, of course, telling us that crime is way down. I guess when you have guards and chauffeur-driven limousines, it might be. And that the FBI statistics are accurate. The Marshall Project, which focuses on law enforcement reporting, found that 6,000 law enforcement agencies were missing from the FBI's 2023 analysis. That means a quarter of the U.S. population wasn't represented in the federal crime data last year. Moreover, whatever small reductions that happen in cities such as Chicago is barely a dent in how much it has skyrocketed over the last 3.5 years. But boy, they're on top of that. You know what else they're on top of? They're on top of the idea they couldn't wait to pounce on the animals in Springfield, Ohio. The media now is abuzz. CNN, I was supposed to be on last night, so maybe I'm mad, Dan. I got bumped for the mayor of Springfield. This guy's under a petition drive. There's a massive petition drive to take out the whole town council and the mayor in Springfield, Ohio. Why? Because the people there believe they were the ones that touted the city to bring in 20,000 Haitian refugees. That's why. Charlottesville was such a crying one. But O'Reilly is right. I'm right. Trump should have taken advantage of that. Why did he not at that point? I mean, isn't this exactly where you should go? We all know it's an ambush. We know that going in. What's your other choice? Not do the debates? Let her continue to coast? Not have any chance to confront? Now, I think you're going to see an all-out battle. What channel is that one on, Dan? With Vance. Is Vance with the CBS thing, or is it some other? I'd like to know who the principal.
Verifying it real quick.
Yeah. I know that Nora O'Donnell and Margaret Brennan are doing one. I think that's a presidential one, if there is one on CBS. And Harris is not going to do Fox News. I mean, this is the world that we live in. So do you let her skate and continue toward the finish line? You're willing to roll the dice on it. She's not going to get away with it. Trump is not going to miss the opportunity in the same way he did here in the next debate.
CBS Evening News.
Right.
Laura's O'Donnell, Face Nations, Margaret Brennan, October 1st.
Oh, so they are doing the Vance one.
Yeah.
All right, here's the prediction. J.D. Vance better be lathered up for this. This Nora O'Donnell, on the way out, horrible at CBS News, is going to go all out on this. She'll throw anything at any point. I'm going to play you coming up, and we'll take more calls, what J.D. Vance did with Caitlin Collins, who is as biased as anybody out there, talking about the pet thing that Trump talked about and the way he brought it around to say exactly the right point. That's all the media is interested in. They're not interested in what is happening in America. O'Reilly also said, I'll answer that question, but I would just like to take a moment tonight and then have one or two of these families and some detail. Riley in Georgia, the place where These innocent women usually have been raped, killed by people that are here illegally, and then turn to Harris and say, I'd hope you join me in this. It's not hard to do this. I realize it's a lot of pressure. I realize you have this media bias. You got to speak directly to it. Take David Muir on. Well, I'm not here to debate you, Mr. President. Say, of course you are. That's exactly what's happening here. And let's get away from her saying how boring your rallies are and stuff like that. I know it's got to be infuriating. Let it go on this. You're better than this. You've gotten to where you are. Discipline, ignore that. Go right at her in this and go right at the media. Make them a target rather than just an ambush. I'm not saying it's the easiest thing in the world. Listen to guys like O'Reilly that you talk with every other day. Don't listen to Laura Lomer. Can we get that out there? All right, we got Don Trump Jr. tonight. I'm loving the questions that people have submitted. You can give me one. I may ask it tonight. I have about 30 already. And at the rate that I talk and he talks for an hour and 15 minutes, and we may only get to 20, but we'll do our best. Tickets at 1210WPHT.com. And don't forget, you get the Letters to Trump book, which is a $100 value. Coming up, Joe of Exton will be there tonight. We'll give you a preview, and we'll see what he's got on that change on the side question today. Get in at 855-839-1210. Hey, how are your cholesterol levels? Managing healthy cholesterol is key to a strong heart and overall wellness for over 30 years. 38 years. Rescue Natural Supplements has been a trusted ally in helping people reach their cholesterol goals. I've counted on Rescue for years, and with good reason. Their range of supplements is designed to meet your specific needs, from omega-3s to red yeast rice and more. Take charge of your heart health today. Use the code DROP at checkout to double your order on any cholesterol product for free. Call them at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant or use the code online when you visit res-q.com, res-q.com. Remember to use the code DROP. Buy one, get one free on Rescue Cholesterol products. Double up your cholesterol support today. Use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, at res-q.com.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-727-9105. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105.
Chase believes that having a place of your very own should be accessible for everyone. That's why we're offering homebuyer grants of up to $7,500 in select areas. It's just one of the many ways Chase can make your home buying dreams a reality. Visit chase.com/homebuyer or your local Chase branch. The Chase Homebuyer Grant is available on primary residence purchases only, on select products and subject to eligibility. All home lending products are subject to credit and property approval. Program terms are subject to change without notice. Home lending products provided by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC, Equal Housing Opportunity.
40 days up to 40 pounds. Say it with me, 40 days up to 40 pounds. Visit njdiet.com or call 855-5NJ-DIET. That's 855-5NJ-DIET. 40 days up to 40 pounds. 40 days up to 40 pounds.
Don't miss the Labor and Energy Show with J-Doc and Krause, brought to you by Advocacy United, this Saturday night at 6. Find out about the important issues that'll affect you. The Labor and Energy Show, Saturday night at 6 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Is your car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My mechanic just suggested an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover repair bills if anything happens to the car. New brakes, transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait, you pay nothing on repairs? Ox gets it fixed? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance?
Yeah, you don't pay. Ox pays. Ox even has a 30-day money-back guarantee and is A+ rated on the BBB. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike those other warranty companies.
The last thing I need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-224-8517. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care. 800-224-8517. 800-224-8517. Or go to oxcarcare.com.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
The pleasant September weather continues across the Delaware Valley today. We'll have a mixture of sunshine and clouds. It'll be warm with a high temperature a bit above average at 84. Tonight, partly cloudy, some fog possible, low 64. And for Friday, partly sunny and warm again with a high 84.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Today, we're the largest injury firm in the world, and I'm thankful to you for trusting us all these years. We'll always be here for the people, not the powerful. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, broadcasting from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
All right, Dom Giordano show. Now, you know, we are sensitive, and rightfully so, to anything involving schools and what we've seen in Georgia recently. So apparently there was some incident here in the Wissahickon School District. Dan, what can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so we got a call from a listener who told us that Wissahickon was released early based on a security threat. We were able to verify that through the Wissahickon School District website, thanks to the help of a great Steve Keeley, great reporter here in Philadelphia. And now on NBC 10, they're reporting students at Montgomery County High School, Wissahickon, are being dismissed early after a bullet was found. A law enforcement source confirmed to NBC 10. The source told NBC 10 a bullet was found at Wissahickon High School. A school official then told NBC 10 that all students will be dismissed early on Thursday as police investigate the security situation. Staff members at the school are staying for a faculty meeting, according to the official. The official also said that all students and staff are indeed safe.
Okay, and I would just hope now we get information. So it's a bullet, okay? Wait and see what do police say about it. So that people know what their best analysis is of how that got into the school. That's where we are at this point. We'll let you know if we hear more. By the way, on this issue of guns and violence, you know, I'll tell you that the sadness of seeing Sherelle Parker and the police commissioner, Bethel, they were very emotional because police officer Jamie Roman died. I think he's the father of two, 6-year veteran, the 25th, which is a very, quote, busy school district. He was shot in the line of duty nearly 12 weeks earlier. The situation, I've talked to cops behind the scene, was that they had this problem with somebody with no license, no registration, no nothing with the vehicle. They're working on that. They're talking to the guy. They find apparently a holster somewhere in the vehicle. The guy then runs away. The family's there, in my view, reading their account, causing trouble. You know, under an abundance of caution, due to all the things that the media will run with and blame cops for, they act in that manner. The guy apparently is running but turns and gets off a shot that hits Officer Roman, who then 12 weeks later, this happened 12 weeks ago, he was in deteriorating health and only hours left to live. He passed away yesterday. And Kevin Bethel was very emotional about it. Now, here's the point. Larry Krasner's office and all the rest. So what do we need? What chance does this officer have, he and his family, at getting justice, which would be clearly the death penalty in this case? And I would tell you the answer is 0. And the reason is the Fitzgeralds are more high-powered, more public, the dad particularly, and the mom. We've seen the widow a lot. It was caught on video. It happened at Temple. And yet still Larry Krasner would not meet with them, give them any reasons why not the death penalty. He had somebody just read a statement to them, told him, get the hell out of here. I'm not doing the death penalty, no matter what you have. What chance does this family have without that horsepower that they have? Here we go again. And the answer is Philadelphia is against this. They don't care if you kill 100 cops right there on the street. Josh Shapiro isn't leading the charge in this. They're just not going to do it. Based on what? They don't want to debate. They lie about it when they're running for office, as he did the first time around. And then he says, he couldn't look his son in the eye. Look your son in the eye. Stop it already, buddy. We still have the death penalty on the books, and rightfully so. I believe, maybe I'm wrong, that Pennsylvania on paper is a death penalty state. And I'll say this again, though. Maybe it's not. Maybe people just buy into their head. What good does that do? Just think about it. These are 2 in a row. The Fitzgerald family, you know the story there. This is on tape, too. The evidence is overwhelming. There is no doubt. He took people hostage. He's fleeing other crimes. I think this is the guy, too, that had a carjacking at the point of a gun in another country. I forget which country in Central America now, and still came into the country. And here this officer dies. He leaves behind a family, 2, 6-year veteran. Both Sherelle Parker and Kevin Bethel were very, very moving in talking about him. But it comes back to Krasner. I would just rather people be honest and say, we're never going to do the death penalty. We're just not going to do it. You're not better than me. You think you have the moral high ground. I'm just not going to fight you on the deterrent effect. I have the moral high ground. You don't. I'm never going to change on that. I don't care how many archbishops, cardinals, and flunky popes. I don't care what they say. Excommunicado, do it. You're the ones that are immoral. It's amazing to me. And yet we play this game. Everybody cries. We go down this path again. Here's another cop that's dead at the hands of an alleged maniac and a family that shows up that they shouldn't have let them be there, but they're afraid. What are they afraid of? Oh, man, this will be on tape. We better watch it here. It was a classic case of a guy that I believe that should have been dealt with differently in the initial situation here. And you see what the result is. This poor cop, the guy gets off a 1 in a million shot running and just hits him, I believe it was in the neck. He's dead. The family's devastated. And we continue on. And Krasner continues on. We'll see. We'll see if Sherelle Parker and others are actually going to tell the public, you need to get rid of Larry Krasner. He will not do the death penalty. It doesn't matter who you kill, what you do, what the circumstances are. That's the way it is. They can have that, and I'm going to fight them every single day, but they're never going to tell me I'm bloodthirsty and they're the moral crowd. No, they're not. They're not at all. They're just progressives that in the end are going to go with the criminal. What do you need to get the death penalty in Philadelphia? It's a rhetorical question because you're not going to get it no matter what. Well, Dom, what good would it be? They'd be on death row. Stop it already. I'm tired of it. Another case, and again, as I said, the Fitzgerald family has a lot more publicity, horsepower, if you will. When you hear the widow, it was at Temple, it was in the middle of all this. Who speaks for them? After all the tears and all the rest of it, who's with them to get justice? And justice is one thing, the death penalty here. All right, phone lines are 855-839-1210. We haven't had a Dan time. We got a lot of calls. Well, let me go to Joe and Exton here first, Dan, then I'll go to Dan time. Hey, Joe, it's going to be great to see you tonight at the big event. You're on the marquee.
Yeah, hello, Dom, and good afternoon to you and your studio colleagues, Spanky and the Little Rascals.
Jeez, Joe,
He's
throwing
rolling.
shots.
So, Joe, ascot tonight, beret. How will I know it's Joe of Exton?
No, I'm not getting formally dressed. I'll be casually dressed.
Undercover.
Undercover.
Yeah.
All right.
So, for the side question, the appliance that we call television is now known by merely 2 letters, TV.
You don't like that change, Joe. It's too
He wants
informal.
us all to say television every single time, huh, Joe?
No, because it's accepted by the majority of the population, it has acquired a positive value.
I'm with you, Joe. There's another word happening right now. It's Riz that kids say, and they have no idea that it actually means charisma. And they're shortening to Riz, and it's becoming a term. It's the new TV, Joe. I'm with you. I'm on.
All
with
right,
you on
Joe,
that one.
we will see you tonight. Joe Yvek's in there tonight. Man, this is an extravaganza. Who else might pop in? And again, I haven't had a chance to look during the breaks. Send me a question for Don Jr. I'm looking, Dan, at what we've gotten so far. And these are
if you want to do that next segment instead of Dan time, what I had was a story out in the UK. A magazine went and talked to a bunch of liberal women who date hyper-progressive men and the horror stories of dating progressive men. But we can hit that some other time because I think this is more pertinent that you got a great event tonight with Don Trump Jr., Politics in Pineston.
All right. So, you know what didn't come up during the debate? Harry wants to know to ask Don Jr. tonight. No tax on tips. I don't know that it did. And China, the word China, David Muir didn't want to utter it. 855-839-1210. Let me tell you about Martin Water. It's so important to make sure our families have the essentials, food, shelter, and, of course, pure, clean drinking water. A lot of news about drinking water these days. Do what I did and count on Martin Water Conditioning to secure your family's drinking water, the Connecticut system. They remove all the impurities from your water. What comes out of the tap? Crystal clear, all-natural water. Not only the best tasting water ever, it provides peace of mind knowing that your family's water is pure and clean. The Martin Water Conditioning family is passionate about water. They'll put their 46 years of experience to work for you. Their customer service, attention to detail are just fantastic. They'll come out to your home. They test your water. Dwayne is our guy that's come out. Amazing. They are so proud to show you the difference. They'll recommend solutions, and these will make sense for you in every way. Contact Martin Water Conditioning. Click on martinwater.com or call 800-887-7555. martinwater.com or 800-887-7555.
Wawa has new Southwest flavors like the roasted chicken fajita veggie quesadilla.
Fajita veggies?
Or the beefsteak burrito with salsa roja.
Salsa roja? Love.
You can also add fire-roasted corn and crispy jalapenos.
No way. All from Wawa.
Oh, you bet. Wawa's always keeping things fresh. And this time, it's with delicious Southwest flavors. Try them in a burrito, bowl, or quesadilla and build it just how you like it. Gotta have a Wawa.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Bob Casey, a familiar name, but ask yourself, what's he done for you and your family? In his 18th year in Washington, what's Bob Casey got to show for it? He made sure COVID relief checks could go to convicted felons. You heard that right. Bob Casey made sure COVID checks went to convicted felons. When reasonable people tried to stop murderers and rapists from getting checks, Casey voted no. Even the Boston Marathon bomber ended up with a big fat check. Casey voted the party line instead of using some common sense. And with families struggling to pay the bills, Casey had this to say about throwing around their tax dollars.
Go big or go home.
Bob Casey went big. He botched it. And it's time for him to finally go home. Bob Casey is wrong for Pennsylvania. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
At Wawa, you can always find the right drinks for the right time. And Wawa's pumpkin drinks are back sooner than ever, so you can enjoy the best of summer and fall. Enjoy a pumpkin brulee milkshake by the pool. Sip a pumpkin cheesecake smoothie while skateboarding. Or take a pumpkin spice iced coffee on a camping trip. At Wawa, anytime is drink time. And now's the time to feel cool and cozy with Wawa's new pumpkin flavors. Available in milkshakes, cream smoothies, and iced coffee. Gotta have a Wawa.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, Clementon. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
It's stand time
I can handle things. I'm smart. Not like everybody says.
with Dom.
All right, Dom Giordano's show. Boy, a lot of breaking news. Dan at the breaking news desk. Dan, what do we have?
Yeah, this comes from Harry Hurley, Atlantic City. A lot breaking down there, Dom. The principal of Atlantic City High School, Atlantic County, New Jersey's prosecutor's office has just confirmed that Atlantic City High School principal Constance Days Chapman has been indicted by an Atlantic County grand jury on a variety of criminal charges. She's facing serious criminal counts. 5 counts of second-degree official misconduct, 1 count of second-degree pattern of official misconduct, 1 count of second-degree endangering the welfare of a child, 1 count of third-degree hindering apprehension of another. This story, while significant, is not something we normally report on here. The thing is, though, Dom, the cover-up, so what happened here is the principal allegedly heard from a child who was being abused and went out of her way to not report it to, the State Protective Services. It turns out that the child she was not reporting to State Protective Services, instead trying to handle it herself, this systematic abuse, is allegedly the daughter of Atlantic City Mayor Marty Small.
Yes, that's why it's big. Thanks to Steve Cayley. Harry Hurley, the voice of the Jersey Shore, will be with us on it. And the takeaway from this, and again, alleged, but they brought charges, this is what happens when you have these one-horse towns. AC, well, we had that one Republican who was a breath of fresh air a few years back. I would say Atlantic City is as corrupt as Philadelphia, even though it's a lot smaller because of all that casino money and development money and all the stuff that goes into it. And you just have this stranglehold. But any principal, any teacher today knows that a cardinal rule, if there's abuse, even a hint of it here, by the mayor or anyone else, and you don't move on that instantly, that is big-time trouble. So that's why this is very serious. Harry Hurley, too, is someone who worked for President Trump. When Trump was in casinos, Harry was one of his right-hand men at various casinos. We'll ask him about the debate. So far, everybody that I brought on, except for listeners, say, no, don't do a second debate. I don't know what more evidence that you need. I think Trump has learned from this. And again, it's not even about reciting policy. It's about pushing back against the ambush people, the media there, is the thing to do. Also, I noticed Trump had great parts of his answers for about 30 seconds or so. He doesn't feel that he has to fill up 2 minutes on every one of these a little bit. Take that pressure off. All right, big 2 o'clock hour. Dom's Money Melody, too. We got a great prize today. That'll be happening around 2:13. Phone lines, though, on the side question and everything else, 855-839-1210.
Harry, if you watch any more of those stupid financial shows, I'm filing for divorce.
How am I going to keep up with our retirement accounts?
At JML Financial Group, we want you watching your grandkids playing soccer and sunsets in Hawaii, not the latest rumor of a market crash. Surprisingly, with proper income planning, the stock market shouldn't even be a concern. The money came in every 2 weeks while you worked. It should be the same in your retirement years. Let us show you how. Call JML Financial Group today at 856-925-6674. That's 856-925-6674. Or at jmlfinancialgroup.com. So, when your neighbor's sunbathing in the front yard,
Harry, you're an idiot. Get away from the window.
keep your eyes focused where they should be, on enjoying your retirement. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company.
The following is a paid commercial message.
I'm Kamala Harris. Here's a few things I believe. Middle-class families, like the one I grew up in, they want common sense solutions. You want lower prices and lower taxes. I believe you want to just not get by, but you want to get ahead. We must create an opportunity economy where everyone has a chance to get a car loan, buy a home, start a business. And I believe we can make that happen.
Kamala Harris's plan? Bring down costs by cracking down on corporate price gougers. Make homeownership more affordable for families. A middle-class tax cut for 100 million Americans. And make sure billionaires and big corporations pay their fair share so you can keep more of the money you've earned.
Instead of being focused on the politics of the past, we need to be thinking about the future and how we make it better for families like yours. I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Harris for President.
Businesses to watch. Hello, this is Armin, president of Armin Chevrolet. What can I say in the next 60 seconds that is going to make you buy a car? Absolutely nothing. The Armin team has been servicing the automotive needs of the Delaware Valley for 40 years. What makes Armin Chevrolet different from other dealerships? That's simple, our people. From the first time you visit our showroom, service or body shop, you can expect to be treated like family on each and every visit. Armin Chevrolet always offers competitive pricing, expert automotive service, and a dedication to exceptional customer service. Visit ArminChevy.com to learn more about what makes Armin Chevrolet a customer service leader in the Delaware Valley. All I ask is that before you buy, lease, repair, or maintain your vehicle, you consider Armin Chevrolet in Ardmore. Find new roads to Armin Chevrolet, where dealership meets friendship.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
On Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, it is Dom time, friend of the show extraordinaire, the voice of the Jersey Shore from WPG Talk Radio and 95.5 FM and 1450 AM. Harry Hurley onto it, probably broke the news there. He dominates the Jersey Shore. He also worked for President Trump as a casino executive in a previous life. Knows him a lot inside the mind of Trump. We had O'Reilly on, who's one of my best at that. Harry Hurley's right up there. Let's go to Harry here on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Harry, good afternoon. What can you tell us?
It's great to be with you. It's Dom time. Great to be on the show.
Thanks, Harry. What can you tell us about this developing story?
The Atlantic City High School principal, her name is Constance Days Chapman, previously suspended because the Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office in New Jersey, they've had their eye on her for quite a while. She was direct charged a number of months ago. The Atlantic County Prosecutor took her recently before an Atlantic County grand jury and obtained a multiple count indictment, 5 counts of second-degree official misconduct and all kinds of other charges, very serious in nature. And the story gets even worse, though, because we don't like to talk about children, but the child involved is the child of the mayor of Atlantic City and the superintendent of Atlantic City Public Schools. So it's a very big deal, Dom.
I didn't know that. So it's the mayor. He is both the mayor and the superintendent of schools?
No. The mayor is the mayor. His wife is the superintendent
okay.
of schools.
All right. Now
and they are both the parents.
Oh, boy. Wow. What a whammy. Yeah. And look, Harry, we're making the point that part of this, aside from the individuals involved in their own machinations, is when you have this one-horse town, when you have usually in our area progressive, like here in Philadelphia, the tendency is you're going to get something. I didn't even know the superintendent in schools was the wife, but we all know this is something, A, you won't be able to cover up, and B, every teacher at every level knows this is the cardinal principle. Slightest hint, you got to report this stuff.
Well, imagine an allegation, and it is that, and the New Jersey Department of Child, Protective Services has confirmed previously, and again, the Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office puts this in the comments about the indictment. This child went for help, and instead of getting help, the allegation is that the principal went directly to the parents rather than follow the law. And it's not just a policy or there's discretion that you could use your own judgment. You are required to report that to the Department of Child Protective Services, and they have confirmed that that was not done.
Wow. Harry.
Now, here's another thing that's very important for your listeners to know. Mayor Small of Atlantic City and his wife, the superintendent of public schools in Atlantic City, so that's Marty and LaQuetta Small, they have also been criminally charged previously.
Yes.
Direct charge by the Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office. This is not confirmed, but sources of mine have stated that they will, too, be brought before an Atlantic County grand jury. And if past this prologue, and it usually is, the initial charges of the principal, Days Chapman, happened about 2 weeks before the mayor and the superintendent were criminally charged thereafter. So I can't tell you for sure that they are going before a grand jury, but that is what my sources say. And we don't know until a grand jury, observes the facts of the case, whether if it goes to the grand jury, they will be charged. But that's the direction all this seems to be heading.
More broadly, Harry, I mean, you're in the center of this every day. Atlantic City in some ways seems worse than Philadelphia because you have fewer countervailing forces there. It's not just you don't have the Republican Party, although there was a win there once, but it's also smaller, but with increasing development money, casino money, and all that. AC is not any small town of 40,000 people. It's huge, and you're going to get more. I mean, look at this. You got the superintendent and the mayor involved in this.
Right, and they're responsible for $500 million a year in budgets. Also, I'll just concede it on the Dom Show. When you take and sort of, prorate it for size and things like that, Atlantic City circumstances are worse than Philadelphia. There is consistent violent crime. Business is leaving Atlantic City. Business that Atlantic City used to be able to attract, they are losing to other jurisdictions. Atlantic City, in my estimation, is in the worst shape that it's been since the 1964 Democratic National Convention, which turned Atlantic City into a ghost town until casinos were approved in 1976 and opened in 1978.
And is it still under state direction?
100%.
Yeah. So, Harry, one other, and we really appreciate you coming on. Again, when we talked with O'Reilly today, who talks with Trump a lot. You actually worked under Trump at a pretty high level, know the mind of Trump. First of all, I'm a fan of a second debate. So was O'Reilly to go into that. And the hope is that Trump saw all he had to do was go after the media in real time here. Just telling people in the debate, look at what they're doing here. Look at the fact checks and calling them on that. And there were a couple of other things O'Reilly talked about. Illegal immigration was what he wanted to get across. How about recognizing at the beginning the families who were devastated by this killed and/or rape, and asking VP Harris, would she join him in saluting those families. What do you think happened with Trump?
Well, he didn't lose as bad as people are saying. I mean, remember now, he went in there 3-on-1. There was misconduct that I think should actually be reviewed professionally by David Muir and his partner.
Well, I agree.
Davis. That was absolutely atrocious. So he's fighting 3-on-1, and you know the game. If you're explaining, you're losing. So they put him on defense the entire debate, 95 minutes. They couldn't even keep the time frame straight. It's supposed to be 90. It was 95 minutes if you count. Remember, Harris didn't even answer the first question. Are Americans better off now than they were 4 years ago? And she went into some Valley Girl, California. So I was a child raised as a middle-class child, and still hasn't gotten around to answering whether we're better off than we were 4 years ago. Trump did better. And I'm going to tell you something. When you look at all the objective evidence, Harris hasn't moved the needle with undecideds. And even in CNN polling and some of the other outfits, Trump improved his standing. So, you know, you can lose a debate and still the other person not win anything.
I would counter with you on that. As much as I agree with much of what you said, we haven't really seen
the numbers, Dom.
We haven't seen them yet, but here's what I would say. She was on the ropes. We were seeing what she's about. The drip, drip, drip was happening. If he had a normal debate there, even status quo, however you want to look at it, Harry, I think by the weekend we would have seen her on the ropes even a bit more, almost ready to be pushed off. It's a missed opportunity. So let me bring you to it. Even though it's an ambush, even we see that, do you do a second debate?
Yes.
Okay.
And the reason you do a second debate, and I'll tell you there's a lot to what Trump said, though. The second the debate was over, they wanted a new debate. They don't think that they won. The media is saying how they won, but you don't do that. The champ doesn't ask for a rematch after the champ knocks out.
Okay, and I'll counter with this. They do. They think they're trolling you. They think they can get a few more days of mileage out of this. Hard to know whether they really want it or not.
Hey, listen, be careful what you wish for. One thing I will tell you about my former boss, who I know very, very well, he doesn't do the same thing twice in a row.
That's what I wanted to hear, yeah.
He has had a bad debate before, and he comes back very strong the next time. The next time, what he would need to do, if you get 2 minutes, do your thing in the first 90 seconds, and every single time the mic is yours, the last 30 seconds, it's like Sugar Ray Leonard, how he used to steal rounds in the last 30 seconds. You go off in the last 30 seconds, and you hit Harris on everything she's done. The 13 dead that they don't even recognize died. They have the audacity to say no one's died on their watch, which means they don't even acknowledge that these people died. And ladies and gentlemen, America, they've never even called these people. You bring that up. You bring up her policies. You bring up everything. And that's how he wins next time, by not being on defense, by totally going on offense. No matter what she says, he goes on offense the next time he gets to speak.
Well, and Harry, I guess you'd agree, too. I mean, it's an ample opportunity to call out the media. You don't have to savage them per se, but point out in real time what they're doing, all the fact-checking. The Charlottesville was such a good opportunity to say, does ABC News still want to say I said fine people about racial supremacists?
Right.
Everybody has
Also
debunked
Project
it.
2025.
Right.
There were many opportunities to correct her when she said that I've made my position clear on fracking since 2020. No, you have not. So there's a lot of, meat still on the bone that did not get picked. But again, that was because of Muir and his partner. They were atrocious in that debate. The next time, it won't happen because the next panel will either be Fox News, possibly NBC. I think there is going to be a second debate. I think there should be a second debate, and the Harris camp should not be asking for it, but it's too late. They already did. They're going to we'll save the tape, Mr. Borowski.
Wait a minute. Wait, you can't say Mr. Borowski.
I like that.
Hey, by the way,
Harry,
Harry,
I've ever been called
Harry, you don't have a dog. You don't have a pierogi in this, but I'm saving this article here. The Inquirer says, what a shout-out to Polish Americans in Pennsylvania, a rare moment in the spotlight.
Felt special, Dom.
For the 700,000 Polish people in Pennsylvania. Wow.
Well, executive producer Mr. Borowski, mark the tape. because the Harris camp is going to rue the day that they wanted a second debate.
All right, Harry, thank you. Great work as always, too. Thank you, Harry, very much.
Thank you, Don, to your team.
All right, Harry Hurley here on Talk Radio 1210. By the way, Dan, what do you think is the principal ethnic group? I would have guessed wrong on this, and I contend that the Inquirer's not right. Polish ancestry, I think, is fifth. I'm looking for it, what they have. Yes. You rank fifth in Pennsylvania, Dan. What's the number one group they say ethnically, according to census data?
Irish.
No, that's what I would have
Wow,
guessed.
really?
Yeah, where we're living.
Italian?
No, Italians are third, and English are fourth.
Huh.
What? What's number one? Henry, what do you think?
Haitian?
No. That's like getting crazy here. All right.
Yeah, he's screening a call. Sorry about
All
that.
right, German. German is number one.
That makes, well, you know what? I'm an idiot. That's obvious.
How is it?
Pennsylvania Dutch.
They're all considered
There's an entire
German?
language. Yeah, I thought so. I mean, isn't
Yeah,
Dutch
I
German?
guess. Yeah, well, I mean, I thought they were Dutch. Why am I off on the Pennsylvania
What do you mean
Dutch?
Dutch is Dutch? Is Dutch not German?
No.
Oh, Dutch is
No.
Amsterdam?
You're thinking of Deutsch.
Netherlands?
You're thinking of Deutsch. Yes, Amsterdam, Holland, the windmills.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, they're the windmills again.
I always get
Let's
that
not
messed
forget
up.
that. Yes. All right, so it is not, and Italians are only third. I thought it was Irish, too. I'm still willing to bet it is
I'm
Irish.
surprised. It's,
Yeah, I don't know. Those rural areas where it's German, how many of them are there really? Okay. Let me take a couple calls, and we'll have Dom's Money Melody. Thanks to Harry Hurley. Thanks for Dan being on that. Isn't it proof, once again, of corruption, progressivism, or sometimes if it's a one-horse town and it's the other way, that's what you're going to get. Let's go to Earl of Tacony on Talk Radio 1210. Earl, good afternoon. And thank you for bringing Joe tonight to the Don Trump event.
Hey, Earl, before you talk, is there any way that you can press record on your
Yes.
phone and record some of that and send it over?
Oh, gold.
Yeah, I made sure to tell his son to make sure Joe has his heart medicine. I mean, if he's going to be driving with me, he's going to need that.
I'm holding on tight.
And you almost had it right. The reason they're called the Pennsylvania Dutch is it's a corruption of the word Deutsch for German. So it's actually the Pennsylvania Deutsch, but they pronounce it the Pennsylvania Dutch.
So they are
That's where that
German
comes
then,
from.
Earl, or
wait a
are
minute.
they
German.
Netherlands? Okay.
Yeah, but there's that many of them?
Yes. I have neighbors that I thought were Mennonite, and turns out they're actually what's referred to as German Baptist. There's the Amish, there's Mennonite, there's German Baptist, there's Anabaptist, there's a whole bunch of Germans all over the place that you ever think about the Quakers and how they came to Pennsylvania for religious prosecution. The Germans had the same thing where they were persecuted in Germany, and they came to the States, and they got into all sorts of different arguments amongst themselves and broke into different sects in the 1800s.
All right, Earl, what is your answer today?
My answer is Back to the Future, where they changed it from gigawatts to gigawatts.
All right.
But then again, they have the photo system that's called a GIF. It used to be called GIF, and they changed that to GIF. So is it pronounced as a G? Is it pronounced as a J? But my main answer is they changed it from gigawatts to gigawatts when it's obviously spelled with a G.
I had no idea it was initially GIF, and now it's GIF. Wow.
Okay, thank you, Earl. We'll see you tonight with Joe of Exton. Let me go to Bill in Bucks County. It's a pretty good one, too. Hey, Bill, good afternoon. What's your change?
Hi there, Dom and Dan. By the way, Bucks County is the home of the Shrine to Czechoslovakia, just so you know.
Ah, okay.
Is that a bad word?
No.
Okay.
All right, what's your answer, Bill?
My answer is very quietly and secretly, Dunkin' Donuts is becoming Dunkin'.
Yeah, they want to emphasize the coffee. Thank you, Bill. I don't get it. It's still in there. The Dunkin's there. That's the coffee, and the donuts are there. This Campbell's soup thing, I mean, this is 155 years. That's what we've been making this premise on. Campbell's soup to make historic name change. They will be called the Campbell's Company. Just another dreary. I could just see the research, Dan. Did they go into the streets of Philadelphia? Yeah, wouldn't you buy more products if it were just the Campbell's Company? All right, Dan, do I have enough lines here? I know Henry's not.
Why don't you take one more
All
side
right,
question,
one
Gary?
more. Yeah, okay. Let's go to Gary of Newtown on Talk Radio 1210. All right, Gary, what's the change?
Let's not change what we were all here, which is I'm an XY, you're an XY, Dan is an XY. Then there are people that are XX and XX and XX. There's only two genders that we were born here on this earth, and there's one or the other. Let's not have a sign on the bathroom door that has a guy on one side and has got his pants on, and on the other side got the skirt on.
Thank you very much.
Works.
You know, Dan, that's a whole thing. Dan, possible side. Write it down, please, because we'll have to discuss this. Signs that you don't understand. Bathrooms, sometimes you just want to get into the bathroom. You're looking at the sign. It's a little bit unclear. Is it gentlemen? You know, I was in a bathroom. They had it. Was it at the I think it was at the spin room the other night, where they actually had a guy in the bathroom, like at the casino.
Oh, really?
Imagine that job all day.
Wow.
Hey, would you like some Vitalis to put in your hair?
Did they have like cologne and all that?
Yeah,
as well?
the cologne.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Oh, my God. I didn't see a bar there, though, in the spin room. I got to say. Maybe I just couldn't find it.
That's disappointing.
That's disappointing. And no food was there. But it is time right now for...
It's Dom's Money Melody.
All right, we are playing today for a pair of tickets to see "'Twas the Night Before Cirque du Soleil" at the Met, and that's on Philadelphia on December 21st, 2024, 7:30 p.m. Tickets on sale at livenation.com. All right, Dan, what do you have today?
Cirque du Soleil tickets on the board. I cannot wait, Dom. We have a big one today. A name change that was probably a good idea because I don't know if they'd be as famous as they became. So back in 1957, two friends, they grew up together around 14 years old. They first met, formed a band called Tom and Jerry, Dom, later changing their name in 1967 when they switched genres to a more famous name, becoming superstars. So, Dom, you know what? I'll give the genre that they switched to when they changed their name. They switched to the genre of folk, and here you have the standard 50s kind of pop. So, Dom, I'm going to play a song by Tom and Jerry. I want to know what these guys changed their name into eventually during their career. I'm thinking there might be a fan of this band out there that happens to know about Tom and Jerry, but take a listen.
Teacher's looking over, so I gotta whisper way down low. She said, whoop, bop, a loochie pop, let's meet after school at 3. She said, hey, babe, I got a lot to do. It takes me hours when my homework's through. Someday we'll go steady, so don't you fret. Ooh, not yet.
Turn into the all-time, maybe... besides Dylan, probably the most well-known folk artists of all time.
All right, jump in. I think I know it, but a pair of tickets, Cirque du Soleil. The Met is a great location. Saw Bill Maher there, the most recent, but 855-839-1210. That's how you get in. Let's get a winner. More calls coming up, too, here on Talk Radio 1210.
Let's meet after school at 3.
Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
I'm telling you what happened last night. If you don't like that, I don't care. We'll talk about it. I'll give you my phone number, and I'll also explain to you the way the tooth fairy works. You can live in that bubble, but I try not to. Even though I'm rooting my ass off for Trump, and I want her to go down in flames, that was not a great night for Trump. We all can say ABC News should cease to exist. They have no credibility. That was a disgrace. There's no good with ABC. It was all bad and ugly. So if that bothers you, that's fine.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are having 2 fabulous back-to-school
specials. The 2024 S60 front-wheel drive sedan and the exciting electric C40 each can be leased for 36 months for $369. Do-it inception would be a down payment and taxes and registration fees. But in New Jersey, this C40 has no tax. The $369 is an incredible payment on each of these Cherry Hill Volvos. Visit Cherry Hill Volvo. Our team would be honored to partner with you.
This is a test of the emergency alert system. This has been a test of the emergency alert system.
We'd like to thank everyone who has generously donated to this year's Catholic Charities Appeal. Because of your support, we've already raised over 50% of our goal, but we haven't crossed the finish line yet. Did you know that 1 in 5 people in our community rely on the appeal for vital assistance and hope? Your donation makes a real difference, providing food, shelter, education, and so much more. We can finish strong. Visit CatholicCharitiesAppeal.org to give today. Every gift brings us closer to our goal and closer to changing lives. Thank you.
There's breaking news all day long from around the world, and sometimes all that noise makes it hard to hear about what's happening right here at home. With the free Odyssey app, getting your local news plus breaking news is easy. And even when you're not near a radio, stay connected with what's going on right here by listening live and push alerts. Just download the free Odyssey app and search and follow your local news station, and you're good to go. The local breaking news to get you through your day at your fingertips on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
It's Don Money Melody.
Where has all the money gone?
Show me the money.
That is exactly right. You heard the clue. Pair of tickets. It was the night before. Let's go to the clue.
The teacher's looking over, so I gotta whisper way down low. You say, whoop, up and lift your bar. Let's meet at the school after.
And now what we're hearing is Tom and Jerry, a band from the 50s, which later changed their name in the 60s, started singing folk, and became one of the most well-known groups of folk of all time.
Jason, at the epicenter of where the big event is tonight, is downtown Collingswood, ready for Don Jr. coming to town, Jason.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Jason. All right. All right. I know you want...
Is it Simon and Garfunkel?
Yes, it is Simon and Garfunkel, Jason. Nicely played. We'll get you a pair of tickets to that. You are the winner today. All right. I was mentioning Collingswood. A lot of great spots to eat there. Ro and I probably going to do it after the event tonight, but still time to get your tickets, 1210WPHT.com. And continue to send me your questions for Don Jr. We'll play some of the highlights tomorrow on the show.
So just to wrap that up, Dom, back in 57, when first breaking into the scene, two musicians, young musicians, Paul Simon, Art Garfunkel. Paul went by the name Tommy Graff, while, Paul was Jerry Landis, while Art was Tommy Graff, forming Tom and Jerry. Why? Because their names sounded too ethnic at the time. But when they switched over to folk, they went with their actual names, and the rest is history.
All right, Don Trump Jr. is just back from flying in tonight when he gets to the event from Ohio. He's been stumping in the Senate campaign there for this Bernie Morano. When we had him on the other day, he talked about that. He talked about Springfield, Ohio, and this town in rural Pennsylvania having similar problems. Then we have Aurora, Colorado. The town here, the one in Pennsylvania, was proposing putting Creole on a stop sign in addition to English. So how are Haitians who speak French able to be driving if they can't understand the traffic signs, the law? Similar thing again now with French. The insurance rates, the reckless driving, and the drain of services are so amazing that all three of these Aurora's in the news because they overnight arrested 10 in a Venezuelan gang. And when we hear people poo-poo it, I'm looking at some Democrats. When Trump the other night, now he didn't slow down and put it out there fully, accused Kamala Harris of supporting transgender surgery and affirmative care and all that stuff for people that are here illegally. That's true. Time magazine, Time, which is still online, jumped the gun and mocked it. One of my sparring partners, Dan, Mark Lamont Hill, said it was the worst comment he's ever heard by Trump in the history of debates. Hey, Mark, you were wrong. Time magazine was wrong. Time magazine said they were mistaken. It is true. And that's an area where Trump in the second debate ought to spend more time, because I don't think Kamala Harris is walking that one back. Her spokesperson was asked about it. He didn't walk it back and say she's changed her position on it. In other words, this is such a matter of faith. They don't want to have to answer and say, yeah, I've changed my view on it, same values, but we shouldn't be doing that. And Trump did bring it up, but it was flying by rather than demanding. They ask her, is that still your position? Have you changed on that? If she said that wasn't her position, then you have to go to them and say, can we have a fact check on that? Who's checking that? Can you just Google that? You know, we still have 50 minutes left in the debate. Google that and tell us, did VP Harris want to give transgendered surgeries? She was proud of it. She said it was the first time in California when she brought this up, and she thought the first in the country. Does she renounce that now? Trump has it in him to do it. That's why it should be another debate. I brought you two people today, Harry Hurley, who worked definitively with Trump, and O'Reilly, who's been talking with him, debate prep, the whole thing. Do another debate. Correct them in real time is the way to go. That way you're taking advantage of it. Now, we know about the bias. I know there's some people saying, well, I don't think J.D. Vance should do it. He absolutely should do this debate. I want to see Walz under pressure. I want to see what he does. He's in a uniquely progressive state. He's not used to being under fire at all. Is he going to take out a whoopie pie and start eating it there? What are the odds on that debate? How much food will Walz have on? Can I put this on my lectern? I'd like to munch during the debate.
He sees the grilled octopus and he's like, "Where's the fried food? Where's my
yeah?"
my
will
cutlet?"
he come out with a camo hat on? I'm sure this might be something you can bet on. All right, let's go to Robert in Ben Salem, Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Robert.
Hey, Dom, Dan, it's good to talk to you guys again.
Good.
Two things that struck me about the debate. They asked Kamala Harris, very simple question: are Americans better off now than they were 4 years ago? And her answer, but it wasn't an answer, was, I'm from a middle-class family, and I'm the only one up here that has a plan to help the middle class, which didn't answer the question. And I don't know if Trump got a chance to rebut that, but he should have come back and said, well, I can answer that question. No, they're not. And plus, I saw something else that struck me. They have them three lines at the bottom of the TV. Red for Republican, blue for Democrat, and yellow for Independents. The Independents one never rose or reacted at all when Kamala was speaking. But several times it shot up along with the red when Trump was speaking. And to a prior caller, I don't think that Kamala gained any ground. She succeeded just by surviving. And I agree wholeheartedly that there should be a second debate. No doubt.
Yeah, without doubt. I would argue, I would say, Robert, I'm a little bit wary that she did gain slightly here. She stopped. It's definite that she stopped where she was falling step by step, so it takes more time off. But in a second debate, I hope you heard O'Reilly today. He ought to be sitting in the room with Trump talking with them. They're on equal levels, know each other 30 years. It was brilliant, the stuff he said that Trump could do. And Trump has it in him to do this. And if Norah O'Donnell goes wild, which I predict that she will, Trump has the ability to bring her into it. She's unlikable. There's no damage there. And to use that, and if they say they're not going to engage with him, he can say whatever he wants. He has to be ready for that. But use them. David Muir, the Charlottesville thing, I was screaming there at the big screen where I was in the spin room. This is the opportunity. Fact check.
Well, I think the people who are going to vote Kamala anyway but weren't happy with it may feel a little better about voting for her now. But I really think that's all the positives she's going to get out of this because she didn't answer one question. And America saw what me and you saw with the bias with ABC. And I think that's another reason Trump should do more debates, to continue exposing them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
What it's going to take.
Yeah, because she's breakable. I mean, she, with the help of Muir, et cetera, had a survivable night for her. But if they had questioned her on this, on the Charlottesville thing, and said, Madam Vice President, that's a fact check, that's wrong, she's not used to hearing that. There might have been, you would have seen the real Harris there.
Well, I don't know if you read this, but Fox reported that Kamala was given several, in quotation marks, assurances from ABC before agreeing to do the debate. And I have a feeling that's what the insinuation was, you know?
Okay, well, we'll see. I'm glad we're in unison, though. There's nothing to lose in the second debate. What's your what's your change, Robert?
I'm going to go with a fast one. Green ketchup. They came out with green ketchup, and I think it was on the shelf for about a month before people's like, we don't like green ketchup. And I don't know why they did it, maybe to save on food coloring, who knows, but that was a terrible idea. Give me my red ketchup because it goes better with my yellow mustard than that ugly green stuff. You guys have a great day.
That's a good one. The coloration of stuff, Dan, you know, anything that you're using that's kind of brownish, dirty looking or whatever, you know, you got to be. Is Campbell's soup? I don't think people quite have gotten on to what we're saying yet. Or is this something that's to their benefit? They want to feature all these other products they have. But isn't soup the star? 155 years? All right, we'll see. Give us a change that was not worth it, backfired, something of that nature. And again, I do hope I see you tonight. If you're coming, come up and say hello. Probably afterward, Roe will be there, Dan will be there, cast of some of our great callers, Earl, Joe of Exton, and Don Trump Jr. in the center ring. There's just breaking stuff all around him. Coming up, we played it at the beginning of the show. I want to play it one more time. Jimmy Kimmel last night attacking Kimberly Guilfoyle and Don Jr. in his monologue. Wait until you hear what he called Guilfoyle. We'll play that for you next and your calls. This year, FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, is giving you a chance to win big every Thursday night with FanDuel Squares. It's the same Super Bowl Squares game you always know, only better. Your numbers aren't just randomly assigned. You get to pick them yourself. You can pick as many as you like, and you get to see the odds beforehand, and you can bet them live during the game. Visit FanDuel.com/Dom and bet on Squares. Plus, if you're new to FanDuel, you can get $200 on bonus bets guaranteed when you place that first $5 bet. A bet you might want to look at, Dan, you like this parlay. Monday night, Eagles win. The over, take the over, 47.5. And, oh, man.
That's Henry's, yeah.
Henry's, and Covey scores an anytime touchdown. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, that's what he's calling for.
Oh, man, if that happens at that moment, we're all going to be saying, and if you bet $10, what do you get?
$220.
Wow.
I'm making you money.
I think you should get $500,000 if Covey scores a touchdown
He's
here.
He's due. It's been almost 2 years now.
Oh.
New kickoff rules. That guy's explosive.
Man. Oh, man. Dan, are you sanctioning that, or are you working on a 15-leg parlay?
No, usually a 25.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, bet 50 cents, win $500. Yeah, you know.
I could give you some more safer options.
Yeah, that's Henry's a little bit. I don't know.
Here. I'm high on Covey.
All right.
I love FanDuel.
I almost never take the over, but I'm taking the over. Well, Atlanta, boy, I got to think about it. I'll take the over, and I never, Dan, as you know, I'm always an under guy.
Henry's got a great argument for the over.
Yes.
Two new defensive coordinators trying to implement a system. Raheem Morris on their side, and obviously we got I'm blanking on ours. Vic Fangio.
Vic Fangio, yeah. Okay. I'm on the fence. Well, FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. Had to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager. Only $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER.
The pleasant September weather continues across the Delaware Valley today. We'll have a mixture of sunshine and clouds. It'll be warm with a high temperature a bit above average at 84. Tonight, partly cloudy, some fog possible, low 64. And for Friday, partly sunny and warm again with a high 84.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
40 days up to 40 pounds. Say it with me. 40 days up to 40 pounds. Shed that summer vacation weight by reaching out to NJ Diet. You will lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days and without any shots. NJ Diet is all natural. They use your hair, saliva, and blood work, along with bioenergetic scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements that get your body into the fat-burning zone so you can finally lose that weight. Then, NJ Diet uses DNA info to help you keep it off. Best of all, it's contractually guaranteed. You're fully supervised the entire time to make sure you are burning fat and not just losing water. You even get the doctor's personal email and phone number. Locations in Newark, Delaware, King of Prussia, and Cherry Hill, or available worldwide with live online video consultations. Call 855-5NJ-DIET or schedule your consultation today by going to njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com. 40 days up to 40 pounds. 40 days up to 40 pounds.
At the next Crash Proof event, you will learn how our proprietary Crash Proof retirement system includes inflation fighters that can increase your income up to 35% or more to fight rising costs without depleting your nest egg.
Geraldine Chiadetti from Warrington, Pennsylvania. Crash Proof puts a smile on my face every day. I sleep well, and it even put a bigger smile on my face today when I got my 13%. The interest we receive from Crash Proof is credited interest. I'm not worried about inflation one bit. We get Crash Proof income, but guess what? Your principal still doesn't go down because your interest from your money is making more money. When I was told we made 13%, my husband looked at me and I looked at him and we did the happy dance.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the William Penn Inn September 17th. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Don't miss the Education Show with Dom Giordano every Sunday morning at 5:30. Find out how you can help your child or grandchild succeed. Sponsored by New Hope Academy.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
All right, Dom Giordano's show. I'm coming to your calls, but boy, what a night to be with Don Jr. Here's Jimmy Kamal last night. Mr. Empathy, Mr. Oh, how vicious Trump is. Listen to what he said, and Henry cut this up and viewed it, so he's pointing to Kimberly Guilfoyle when he's talking about drag queens. Guilfoyle spoke at this victory rally in Florida, so he mocks how she says come back. That's fair game. But calling her a drag queen, is that? Here's Kimmel.
Meanwhile, down south, Trump's future daughter-in-law, Kimberly Guilfoyle, was wowing the crowd at the Florida Republican Party victory dinner.
And Act 3 is the art of the comeback.
The art of the what?
The art of the comeback.
Oh, the art of the comeback. Okay. You know, these people, they hate Drag Queen Story Hour. No problem with that.
All right, there we go. All right, so nice, Jimmy. Tell us about your son again and empathy and everything else that's involved here. All right, everything's fair game, apparently. 855-839-1210. Let's go to Gail. Here's one, Dan. Gail says, or Henry put up, down the shore. They don't say that in some news organizations now. They just say they say something. What is it? They change it. They try to change it. Have you guys heard that?
No.
Not down the shore, or not down at the shore. Maybe it is down the shore. They took out part of it. Let's go to Gail. Gail, where are you? Tell me where you are.
Hi. Well, I am now. I've arrived to Ocean City.
So you're down at the shore.
I am down at the shore.
That's the at was taken out. Now it's just down the shore.
Down the shore.
Down the shore.
No, it's down at the shore. Okay. Go ahead, Gail.
I get very frustrated with Donald Trump. I love him, but he always repeats the same things. I mean, it's always, for instance, the immigration, the border thing comes up, and, he always says, well, in my administration, we did X, Y, Z, all the things we know about. And so she brings up the immigration bill, for instance, and how he called everybody and said, don't vote for it because I wanted a campaign issue. But I just wish I never hear him come back and say, thank goodness the GOP senators didn't vote for that, because this is what it would do. And, I heard Levin one night. He had I think it was 5 very succinct points of what results of that bill would have done. And if he could relate it to people, say, I forget the details, but it seems to me it was 2,500 people a day, 5 million a year.
Yeah, no, you're right on and you don't need everything exactly right, but pointing that out. Also pointing out, and David Muir actually asked the question, but then never followed up. Why did it take you 3.5 years to come to this point that you finally wanted to do it? In other words, it's political. It's fugazi. You're doing this just to make a political point.
But if Trump could follow it through and say, okay, folks, this is going to be this is law now. 5 million people a year, no questions asked. 10 years. What is that?
Look, Gail, that's why the critique is two things at once. It wasn't ambush, but Trump left a lot of things on the table here that ought to be relative layups for him, even under that pressure, as intense as that is. We talked to O'Reilly, Mark Levin. Look, the people that should be in the room with him are Levin, O'Reilly, not Laura Loomer and nuts like that. That's part of the problem.
But he also doesn't have to wait for the debate to bring these points out.
Yes.
He can do it at his rallies. He can do it in interviews with Hannity or whoever he's talking to.
Thank you, Gail. The problem with this, in the rallies, the crowd gets a bit restive, to your point, Gail, in articulating these things, and he feels he has to entertain it. We get the entertainment part. That's where the rallies are a little bit of a stumbling part here. Scott of Mount Laurel, Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Scott, afternoon. Scott not there?
That was the wrong Scott. Scott in Lansdale.
Oh, Lansdale.
But you got Scott in Mount Laurel as well.
That's who I hit the wrong. My fault.
Yep, you're good.
Hey, Scott, afternoon.
Okay, take two. My wife and I will be there tonight. Looking forward to it.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. And I tell you, she was right on the money, the last caller, that when they brought up that immigration thing, I think I posted this on your Twitter at the time, Trump spent the whole 2 minutes talking about his rallies. And it was mind-boggling that he didn't address the immigration issue.
Well, we know that got under his skin with Harris. And look, we all know that's got to be difficult to hear they're bored and coming home. But my God, the stakes are this high. If you can just ignore it, revenge is best here. She's vulnerable. Do not go into those areas. Stick to this point. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, I mean, her goal is just to not talk about anything, and he gave her that.
Yeah, exactly.
The other thing is, he just can't get sucked into these side topics. He just needs to come up with his 5 or 6 things that he wants to pound home. Like he was great at the end. His great close about, well, why didn't you do it in 3.5 years? So that should have been the whole debate.
Now, Scott, on the upside on that, and look, you know how I despise TikTok, but we're in this. We got to win it here. That has gotten the Trump close on TikTok, 18 million views and counting at this point, telling us the first 10 or 15 minutes and the close, that's where the gold is. Just stick to those things.
Yeah, and a huge part of the bias is the questions they ask. You know, they ask about every made-up controversy that the Democrats have come up with. And he's got to just avoid it. Just talk about whatever you want. I mean, look, they asked Kamala Harris and she just talked. Are they better off they were 4 years ago? And she talked about her upbringing. So just talk about what you want to talk about. Forget it. What are you going to?
I agree with that completely. No one's going to come and grab you by the neck or do anything else. So, Scott, what's your change?
Oh, last thing, debate format. They should ask each other questions and just have a timekeeper. That would be the best.
Yep, very good. I want to get this one in because this might be my winner. Tom in Rosemont on Talk Radio 1210. What's your change, Tom?
Dom, this change is a crime against humanity, almost as bad as soccer. When they took the bat out of the hands of pitchers and put the designated hitter in both leagues, they managed to ruin the American League for its uniqueness and the National League for actually having athletes play the pitching position.
Couldn't agree more. It's ridiculous. And Tom, I believe, and Henry might know, but in one league, I think it's in the American League, there's a designated hitter who's up to be the MVP. I don't care if he hits 100 home runs. No designated hitter can be the MVP.
It's Ohtani.
Hold on, though.
It's
You
Ohtani.
can't call Shohei Ohtani just
Is he a designated hitter?
That's all he's in right now.
Well, he's stolen bases. That's a little bit different. Okay, he'll steal 50 bases. Yes.
Dom, the designated hitter was put in to let 300-pound, 40-year-old men still play in the league as opposed to young pitchers. Just think of this. The last pitcher who will ever have hit, unless it's Ohtani, Joe Blanton of the Philadelphia Phillies was the last home run by a pitcher in a playoff game.
Wow, that's got to be eons ago. That's
Joe.
That's a pretty good answer. Yeah, Ohtani stealing 50 bases come on. That's small print though. The average designated hitter can't be the MVP. The guy's different. He's the rarest of rare. As I give Grant on the 50 stolen bases and 52, I think he's unpacked. That's different. But the average, come on. The average designated hitter, no matter what he does, I just turn baseball into that then. Okay. The lightning round is next, 855-839-1210.
Businesses to watch. Thinking Chevrolet? Think Armin Chevrolet. Looking for the best compact SUV in the market? Armin has the stylish Chevrolet Trax with standard Chevy Safety Assist in stock and available for immediate delivery. Purchase a brand new value pack 2025 Chevrolet Trax LS for Armin's amazing price of only $20,995. That's $20,995. Businesses to watch. Thinking Chevrolet? Think Armin Chevrolet. Prefer to lease? Lease a new 2025 Trax LS from Armin for only $199 per month for 24 months with 10,000 miles per year. That's only $199 per month. Thinking Chevrolet? Think Armin Chevrolet. Closer than you think in Ardmore. Or shop 24/7 at arminchevy.com. That's arminchevy.com. Tax and tax additional. MSRP $21,495. Includes $500 healthcare professional or first responder rebate. Lease down payment of $39.95 and first payment due at signing requires current lease and household and Nature Bank approval.
The following is a paid commercial message. Donald Trump's back, and he's out for control.
I would have every right to go after them.
Complete control.
I will wield that power very aggressively.
And he has a plan to get it.
Detailed plans for exactly what our movement will do.
It's called Project 2025, a 922-page blueprint to make Donald Trump the most powerful president ever. Overhauling the Department of Justice, giving Trump the unchecked power to seek vengeance, eliminating the Department of Education, and defunding K-12 schools, requiring the government to monitor women's pregnancies, and Trump has also proposed severe cuts to Medicare and Social Security. Those are Donald Trump's plans.
Well, revenge does take time, I will say that. And sometimes revenge can be justified.
He'll take control, we'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message. Paid for by Harris for President.
With so much uncertainty in the world today, you may find yourself wondering, is now even the right time to retire?
So many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping get people to, through, and beyond retirement for over 25 years. And each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Jack Daniel's
thrills at Coca-Cola, tailgating, and watching the birds. It doesn't get any better. So stop by your local PA Fine Wine and Good Spirits store and save $1 on cases of Jack and Coke and Jack and Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, along with Jack Honey and Lemonade, Jack and Ginger Ale, and Jack and Tennessee Apple Fizz. All ready to drink in a can. Jack and Coke, poured for the tailgate. Please drink responsibly.
Whiskey Specialty, 7% ABV. Jack Daniel's Distillery, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Jack Daniel's Little Number 7, a registered trademarks of Jack Daniel's Properties, Inc. Coca-Cola is a trademark of the Coca-Cola Company.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Oops. Ever had your singing lessons cut short by icy water?
Oh, I'm sorry, honey.
Say goodbye to those cold notes with Navien tankless water heaters. With Navien, you'll hit all the right notes without the surprise chill. So keep singing and let Navien keep the hot water flowing. And get ready for the encore when you get your utility bill.
La 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 la.
Navien tankless water heaters. Visit tanklessmadesimple.com.
If you're still waiting for a sign, here's another one. At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work for us. So we only connect you with the best. That's how we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Dramatic sound effect incoming. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
It's Dom time. Dom Giordano. Weekdays, noon till 3 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
The time has come for the final test.
We usually call it the lightning round.
All right, our lightning round sponsored by Cherry Hill Volvo. Enjoy back-to-school savings on a 36-month lease of a 2024 front-wheel drive S60 for only $369 per month. Down payment, registration fee, and taxes due at inception. Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter. All right, some big change that you resist. Let's go to Tom in Percy. Tom, what's yours?
Hey, hello, from Pennsylvania. Mine is the time spring forward, fall back. You got to deal with it twice a year. I don't know.
I hear you. Yeah, November 5th. Not that I'm counting. I think is the day that we do it. Something like that. Dreadful.
Not a fan of daylight savings time?
No, not at all. No.
Keep the clock the same.
Drew in Upper Darby. Drew, welcome in. What do you have?
Hey, Dom, thanks. Hey, Dom, real quick. I remember sometimes way back in the day where a pitcher was used as a pinch hitter.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how good they can hit. But, you know, Dom, when I was real young, my father worked on the Reading Railroad, and I had a friend whose father worked for Penn Central. They called it Pensy. And we would, drive around with each other, who was better. But one morning we woke up and they stole the identity. It became Conrail. And just like that, these little railroads were gone when they merged to Conrail.
That's a good one. Well, hey, Dan, tell it to Campbell's Soup, who's not soup anymore. The Campbell Company.
Can't believe that.
They gotta sell us Prego and V8. Oh, man. Maybe the guy will call in tomorrow and say why they're doing that, but I just think it's...
Campbell's Chunky Chicken Corn Chowder. Now heartier with even more chicken.
No,
sure beats another frozen dinner.
One game before you go. I'm McNabb.
No, I'm McNabb.
Come on, Donovan. I'm always McNabb.
I am McNabb.
Boys, play nice.
All right. Andy and King of Prussia, Talk Radio 1210. All right, Andy, what's yours?
It's great hearing Harry, okay. I don't miss this at all. Those automatic shoulder belts from the 80s that came and went were, I don't know how many people they strangled. They were the worst invention ever, for sure.
All right, thanks, Andy. And Bruce in the Northeast. Bruce, final hitter, what's yours?
Yeah, Dom. You know, I believe it was in sometime in the 1940s, the Phillies, some knucklehead decided to change the team's name to the Philadelphia Blue Jays. And it only lasted a year or two, but, wisely they changed it back.
All right, pretty good. I would say my bias is I think the best of the four teams name, the Sixers. Fits Philadelphia beautifully.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Yeah, thank you. Dan just going to give the Eagles answer to please the crowd. All right, let's get a winner quickly and give what's going to happen tonight. Dan, any people you think of here?
A couple good ones, Dom. Kick returns in football. Joe in Columbus spurned a lot of conversation. Good. Duncan was a good one, similar to Campbell's. The Universal DH. Conrail swinging all railroad names, springing the clocks forward, automatic seatbelts. I'm leaning towards the kick returns in football.
I got the DH. Henry, what do you say?
I'm a sucker for it, too. I got to lean towards the universal DH as well.
All right, there's the winner. Tom and Rosemont, Attorney Tom. All right, just moments away. Got to go home. Get up, row. Dan's got to go home and then come back. We will see you over tonight at the Scottish Rite Auditorium. Big event with Don Jr. and a cast of thousands. Tickets, 1210WPHT.com. Richie always next for 4 big hours.